Let's go. Group 2, Game 1, baby. The Avengers group.
Wants their opportunity at
There's going to be an upset today. There has to be at least one really good team that doesn't make it out of this group. There's just no way today goes so perfectly they all get through. Yup, I agree, Taco. I agree. Thank you.
Really spicy after today.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely the one for the casual. If you want there to be
only 2 trios here. This is supposed to be 3.
The stacker in it. This is the one that you want to be watching.
Oh, we all got out dropped. The Italians. Oh no, and we got out pinged.
For some of the top teams,
oh, disastrous start for the Italians. Maybe not.
Antics goes down there as well, though, so things are already starting to get heated at Foxy Floodgate.
Oh, Sky. Wait, Mumsy's team didn't drop on Queasy.
Shaping up to go here.
Because I just saw them get a kill at Dojo.
Eventually fall. Radion there as well, and it's Veek, CK.
The Italians are down.
And Adrix that come out.
Brutal.
Still gonna have to worry about playing for that reboot later.
Ooh, wait a second.
Only one. Axe Force Della closing in. Bevy's also lurking nearby.
Capricorns.
Working by the Kappa factory. Bevy's overhead view breaking through the roof now, just trying to confirm that he doesn't have opportunity.
This motherfucker made his Fortnite name manually breathe. I want this guy to get 5-0 today. Fuck you. I want this guy to lose everything today.
If he's not careful, he might eat more.
God damn it, I'm manually breathing now.
Still,
are we actually getting fucking trolled in Fortnite names? We've gone to that level, have we?
Getting the advantage. There's Bevy's finally with some opening shots, but return fire. The problem.
Yeah, I want him to get 5-0. Della, you got this. Shit on him.
With this trio, slow play now taking place.
Yeah, and you can see their shotguns. Every single player does have that sort of close range. They have an auto, they have an outlaw. They need to close in here. They need to try and
nice.
Someone to hop in. You can see Della there with the auto already connected.
Get shit on.
Fantastic there. Knock onto Unzen.
No,
really
Della, nice.
Does get attacked from another angle as well. He's got to be so careful. Luckily for him,
get shit on. Oh my god.
And find the
W Bevies.
1-0.
This better be a 5-0 by the end of the day.
That's really nicely done from them, and that's what they needed to do. They need to just close in, get close up, and that's ultimately what turns the tides for them for that fight.
Some very decisive.
What the hell is going on here? Where are we?
Siren, Voltiax, and Cool.
We're literally fighting over a sewer. Where the fuck are we?
Keto.
What is this?
Wrap around currently. Look for an angle. Has that infiltrator stand by. But Hydro, one of our trios that kind of came in at the final hour for today's group match, and Cool just looking to break through, but gets into the box. Not exactly the kind of exchange he was hoping for. That's going to be a return fire. Hydro, though, looking to close things off. Siren.
Wait, Queasy down. Oh, what happened to Queasy?
Just in time. Keto will be brought back into the action. One more trio.
Queasy down, but Queasy's uncon C-pod. I'm trying to think of how he could possibly die here. He's either crashed or he's just like mismanaged his trades out of C-pod.
You can see when they had that control of that area, they could look down on the other team, and they had that
crashed. Oh,
the other team just couldn't stand a
no
chance.
way.
They had those right-hand peaks, and that's what Hydro was doing really well.
Dude, that's gonna suck.
Just holding onto that right-hand peak and ensuring that they didn't get a chance to fight back, but. Really nicely done there from the experienced guy.
Oh, Vico better Flixie. First time with the new drop, and the loot's looking pretty solid. Not the greatest, but ooh, okay.
Just using the mountain span to their advantage.
Yeah, the main thing about this drop is also the van. So I don't know if they got the van spawns they wanted this game. We'll see.
Split, and for good reason. It just makes this team so mobile. So while Vico just prioritizes getting some mats online from that southward split,
this could be a really good drop for them, man. No.
Rest of his team's just going to look to try and be a little bit more aggressive with their
Queasy crashing game 1, bro.
Swizzy, Queasy. They've also got to keep tabs.
Do I do a chat?
On what's happening.
Do I take this moment to shit on Tweaks for the 500th time?
Queasy is no longer even a part of the conversation. Eliminated earlier on, but Merstash and Swizzy, the fact that they're still relatively.
I don't know if Queasy's tweaks like that though, so. But I swear, just pros crash so much more than everyone else, man. Like I get it, but like, dude.
Obviously, I think maybe Queasy was taken out of the air. Maybe another one of our players with one of those sort of scoped ARs was able to take him out. So really not an ideal situation for them off spawn. As you mentioned, they do have it uncontested, so they should be okay. Frodoxy, Pablo Wingo, Chino. These guys coming out of that Mars Meadows there.
Nice reborn.
Very much confident in going for the black market as well. They claimed it. They said this.
Yeah, you gotta remember, when you're on the broadcast, they don't know. If I just tuned into that, I would think maybe Queasy died out of the sky too. Like they just don't know, chat. Like what are you doing? Why are you flaming the broadcast? Don't say you crashed. They don't know.
I like the way that they're basing up here. They're making sure that nobody is even going to look at that
black market. What the fuck is that?
Scraper on top.
Well,
claiming that position.
Ah, yes, my favorite European pros.
A little bit of a skirmish.
I definitely know who these three people are.
Shiny Shafts, seemingly on the better end of it currently, though, is they'll take the time, reunite. This group might get an opportunity here to look back on what actually took place. And
I love
sure
this team.
enough, it's just
This
the
guy.
immediate
Oh,
charge
look.
through.
Oh, damn. And that guy's also
Absolutely
doing
no
it.
time
Oh,
to
shit.
waste. Kidu doesn't really have an opportunity to respond, but
Pronounce it, go.
are what teams are really going to have to keep in
Oh, is this
mind
Hardfine's
here.
team, is
Luigi
it?
and
Are they a bunch of
Loki,
weebs, are they?
along with QB, they are
I think
just
so. That, okay, I know that
waiting
one's
for the optimal
Japanese, but I
moment
think
to
the other two are
strike, and
Chinese,
this is a
right?
big patience game, but the trade-off could
I don't know.
definitely
I'm
be
super
worth
ignorant
it
with
if
Asian
Hardfine and
languages,
Michael are
so
not careful.
I don't think this is this
Yeah, some of
Japanese?
we saw the
No,
reverse of
that's
last week,
definitely
where we saw the
Japanese, but I
Shiny
don't
Shafts
think
team
this in this one. I think this must be Chinese. Oh, it's Korean.
In iDrop Sky and Score.
Oh,
We saw
this
them
is
just
Korean
being
and
so
that's Korean, but
mobile.
that's
Now I think it's
Japanese.
gonna be
Okay.
Luigi, Loki and QB who are going to be doing that and closing in.
It's
on
one's
some of the
Chinese,
teams that are
one's
fighting
Japanese,
their
and one's
Shiny
Korean.
Shafts. And they're just being very,
okay.
very patient now, which is exactly
Hey.
what they need to do. They don't need to
Good cultural
rush
diversity,
in
you know?
too quickly.
Making
This
sure we're
is
not
game
showing
number one. We
favoritism.
saw it last week or last Sunday. So many players decided to play a little bit more slower in that first game of the group. It definitely wasn't one to
Circles equals
watch in terms
Korean.
of
Ah,
eliminations
okay.
and
Good way to know.
fragging power, but I think AD and Hardfind and Co here, they're very much aware of the presence there of Luigi, Loki, and QB. They're playing things very, very carefully. And again, Taco, it's these awkward little fights in here, which can be pretty good for not getting third.
Already down to
party,
78
but
players, so
difficult
much
to
more
navigate
aggressive
when
group
you're
than
a
last
team
week.
that's in this situation.
But Loki and Lucy, they are committed to this. Aiden, Hardfire, Michael, they're not convinced. Finally, they're going to get their chance, but it doesn't actually come to fruition here for QB. He's not going to be able to find any sort of an opening sequence. Instead,
It's so cool to see AD and Hardfire and Michael back, bro. What an OG throwback trio,
You
man.
have to remember, Minnie, one of these teams already found 4 eliminations, and the other has absolutely nothing to their name. So you can only commit
Yeah.
so much time.
So
before you
Hydro
have to
left
start actually
potentially
collecting surge
uncontested
damage.
Shogun to contest that little hole we just talked about. For the kid who earlier was saying, Shogun's not that bad.
Something that Cranky's not having too many difficulties
Ooh.
finding, and he's got to clutch this one up because losing a teammate so early on, you just want to be able to go for those reboot plays as quickly as possible so you can start putting the pieces back together.
Yeah, nice to see that.
Maddie, Carranzo, Smoothie, you K3 again, the 500 minis. Motorman, Epic, Jeremy, Peppers, Sunset Anchor, what's up, Anchor? Altamore, Ukas, Faded, Super Knight, Taco, Shah, is it? Neo, Asen, Zolik, so many subs. Kid Secret, Ulbo, Carbo, Cryptic, Pencil, Brandon, Abdul Hanif. I missed your sub, I'm sorry. Thank you, guys.
As well, difficult situation for all players. They're jumping on in. Cranky does find Ali's right
Hey, there you
there.
go, Goldfish. Appreciate the donut on YouTube, man.
It's a really nice knock from him, but it's all just boiling over here. So many players inside of the box, and they do eventually fall.
Just an all-out brawl taking place, but these fringe positions on the map.
Yeah, Hydro got put into group chat because 2 teams got
DQ.
DQ'd.
Find that early surge because you have to expect it's going to be very difficult for these teams as they're rotating inwards with some of these later zone pools to not be held on the edge of zone. But if we're talking about teams that know how to play clinical Fortnite, Ari, Seti, Cammy are always going to
they're
be
getting
in the front of that
trained.
conversation. And with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder,
That's got to be the call, baby. Come on, surely. Why is Shogun so bad? It's just it's really shitty loot, edge of the map with really, really bad surge angles.
Let's break it down earlier on. You can just make out a few of those heals inside of that surge base. A quote from Queasy on the Fantasia podcast talking about how they do sort of stack those heals in these various surge bases.
Cal, 38.
Very similar to that 2022 Invitational on the balloons.
Zero metal, yeah.
Just allows them to trade that storm surge damage.
Yeah, 70 metal, like zero metal Shogun also kills the vibes a bit. Where's Cammy dropping? Brutal box cars.
From their uncontested drops.
So this is gonna be interesting. How does Vico Venoflixie get their surge?
Quite a fan of that skyscraper.
Ooh, this is even. I wonder if he thinks this is Fred. It's not even Fred that's in the skyscraper.
How this team go about these fights, sneaking, making sure that
Vico.
there's always one player that's providing some pressure.
Off the back of the solo finals win yesterday.
Vico just lurking right now. If he gets inside of that 1v1 situation, it can only end one way. And that's why he's just looking for that opportunity right now, Taka. He's looking for an opening, a potential to pounce.
Nice instigator.
He's holding that left-hand peek, keeping an eye on all the surroundings, but no, he gets spotted out, he gets found out. And that's why he's retreating.
It's also Veno forfeiting that high ground overview that he'd initially had. Seems as if he might have
Oh, Lucy versus the Italians. Anyone predict on Zara's not too happy right now. Oh, they abandoned him. Yo, Zang and Rickboard. Damn, boys.
Inside of the storm, they will
boys.
collect Zara,
I feel like we could have fought that.
Unfortunately, they still have
we sacrificed him.
Ways to go here. V-Chap and Teeny. A lot of fighting.
Nice. Good start from Chap. Nice. I want to see this team qual. Like I said, we haven't seen them with Crime City Uncons. This will be our first time. Good start, good start.
Because they still have a couple other trios rolling around the outskirts of Crime City.
Yeah, this is a dangerous trio. You don't want to be on the receiving end of a fight with these
really,
guys.
Merits?
They have that fragging power combined with those.
By the way, according to leakers, the Death Star will arrive mid-game 2 if timing is correct.
That elimination didn't even need those mythic shotguns. It was that 3-2-1 on that weakened wall, and
I fucking love this esport, bro. This is my esport right here. We have to worry whether a Death Star is going to show up in game 2. Fuck yeah.
In Chap, Teeny, and Skavi, they will
I'm so excited.
Perfect chance to pick up a nice elimination. Back on board though with Lucy, QB, and Loki.
No other esport is this a conversation you have to have. It's great.
With that easy elim earlier on.
What is that?
Now they're just staying inside the storm. We talked about it a little
Not
bit
being
last week.
Star Wars fans.
Playing in that storm.
So if you guys didn't see, there's a big announcement today. They're going to be announcing next season today, apparently. There's like a whole like live stream they're doing, and apparently it's going to have like an in-game event that leads into the live stream, and I'm really hoping it's not in tournaments, because apparently it's a Death Star. Maybe it probably just shows up and just kind of like ominously flies there though. But don't worry, I'll make sure I get the name right. We have leaks of a new item next season, and it's called the Star Destroyer Bombardment. And it is set to be in ranks, so don't worry. If you've ever wanted to use a Star Destroyer Bombardment in your Fortnite ranks games, next season's the season for you.
This time is going to be Kifo.
We have no other information on what the fuck that is, but it just sounds like it's going to be awful, you know?
It's definitely setting them up nicely. It's kind of
side of the map though.
Isn't that just an airstrike? Yeah, but from a Star Destroyer. And if you've watched anything to do with Star Wars, like that's the thing that levels planets. So I don't know how strong it's going to be, but I think it's going to be super fun. But hey, we got a goofy 1 month long season, bro. And if it sucks, we can all play Reload. W. That's all I'll be playing anyway as well, because Pro-Am.
Only one elimination for them. Maybe it was them that maybe took out Queasy earlier on. I think the bus path did go that way. So
Group 3 today as well. Nah, Group 3's tomorrow, bro. So Group 2, EU and NA today. Then later on NA, we have Clix's team playing. Clix's group, Muzz's group. There's a few big teams on NA. And then Group 3's tomorrow.
They do make off spawn. Having that uncontested shining span is so important.
Ooh, nice.
They can find some success.
Ella's team doing well.
Fully previewing some of the woes that kind of take place when some of these teams are just navigating their way outside of the storm. Della, though, might even suspect
Yo, Spawn. It's fine minis, bro. You getting a Vico VOD review? Probably not, man.
By any means, and sure enough, Antics just running from Della straight into his
I was saying this yesterday, man, with trying to maintain this stream schedule as well as YouTube videos and playing to try to practice for Pro-Am, man. Something's got to give, bro. And the extra YouTube videos is going to be the first thing to go. You res? They're playing for 19.
What Pump is going to have to decide to do moving forward, and he's not the only one.
Yossi?
They've made their way outside of the
so did they forget to add loot to this area of the map? Like, is this forest meant to have literally zero loot? I didn't expect it to be a whole ass POI, but
so incredibly low, just trying to hold the wall for as long as possible. He needs somebody from
yo,
his team
give me this dude's ping. Oh, wait, I have this dude's
There's
ping. Never mind.
No reinforcements coming through just yet. Finally, Peshka is going to be able
hey, it's Peshka. This is the guy who came third yesterday in the solo finals.
Out of the conversation, Lucy soon to follow. Just too much trail behind here, and that's going to be the prime opportunity for Fury's.
It has loot. Oh, it doesn't. There's 4 chests. Okay. Wait, there's 30 chests in the forest. There's no way there's 30 chests. That's 100% a lie. The 4 chests I could believe.
Zara looking to close on in here into this fight. Italians just trying to find any sort of angle to approach, but I think that the way that
What's up, Cookie?
Fury and Peshka fought that fight, it was very good.
There's like 30. That 100% no.
For that third party.
We're smoking, bro. We're smoking.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind with that.
Bro, we already have number 1. We are number 1. We've secured it.
Something that we might see a
little
bit
did it.
Of,
You're that guy.
Today, they are in play, so nice ways to
What's happening?
That mid game. That's what I was talking about. I would have liked to see them pushing Peshka into the box just to get this elimination a little bit sooner. That knock could have
thank you,
come
Cookie.
a little bit earlier.
Tab, you sub my Cookie. Give my man a big thank you. It might be something you guys will give sub my Cookie yesterday as well. Also give him a thank you. There's 4. Okay, there's 4 chests in the forest. All right.
Solid. Couple of knocks from those guys, particularly on a team that have been on a bit of a tear this game. Lucio working QB, they've been playing in that storm, trying to get that damage as we were talking about earlier. So a little bit of a desperate attempt maybe for them to try and find some.
Scenic views though for Rick's
whole way to say what up.
What up? Power. A lot of gold splashes that we saw Risk holding on to. Frixie as well, playing from that elevated position.
Thanks,
Abdul and Boobas as well as YZY. They're just trying to make sure that they don't actually overexpose themselves by any means, Minnie. They are more than aware of the fact that there is a trio lurking just above them, but at least for right now, it's not something that they have to deal with. They are sitting just above the surge damage threshold, but 145 is nothing that you can feel comfortable with. So obviously Abdul just trying to lock in.
68 alive now, so a lot of spawn fights and then a pretty quiet mid game.
See if you can connect some shots. But if they don't find that damage soon, they could be in a world of hurt here.
Absolutely. UK
oh my gosh, fine. We're still arguing over this chat.
Excited about this trio.
It's like when your dad has to get involved. All right, it's so easy, chat. Chests, spawns on. Where the fuck is this shitty ass forest? Is that it?
Yet to be achieved.
Oh, look at that. There's 4.
Of course, as I mentioned, all from the UK as well. So one of my favorite teams in the lobby, naturally. Looking good here though. Just bang through magic mosses. No eliminations.
What the fuck? I said 30 to 40.
This is their focus right now, trying to find a couple of extra.
I think Zyro with prime for 17 or 7. Sorry.
Optimal mobility either. So for them, they need to try and find that damage. Try and maybe find a knock, some things to get them comfortably above that threshold.
Need lethal to 28.
Circling from Mass Meadows, they might be able to jump right in to this fight that's taking place here at
Yo, Conan, wait, what? Hey, Conan with the 10k minute is my number 1 as well, in my heart. And on the leaderboard, actually, yeah. There you, Conan, appreciate you, bro.
Last team that you'd probably want to encounter in such close quarters, but there's not very many other options. Zara knows that they're not actually going to be able to push out a brutal at this point. Too many teams just look the area, trying to hold them at bay. Svitini and Chav also know we've got
Vico fighting.
We just want to get
only 200 above.
Get caught in between 2 desperate trios.
Oh,
Vico,
so
Venom,
close.
Flixie,
so weak.
Just chasing down Adrix.
Nice.
For his life, but there's nowhere left to go. When it comes to one-on-ones, Vico has 0 concerns, and Vic, unfortunately, he tries to back up his teammate, instead finds himself eliminated with him. But this is a big opportunity for Veno's trio, Mini, because if there's one thing Veno loves to do, it's ride the storm all the way through the dead side.
You have to be careful here with this launch pad as well. Of course, with these assault rifles in the game right now, 100%.
Oh, how's Fred looking?
Ooh. Scan, so if anyone does catch them,
I'm not sure what goes on with Fred's team once they get uncon masked. This doesn't seem to have like.
There was a little bit weaker on the white HP, so
we'll have to see if they get a south zone. I don't want to judge them too hard on a north pole zone, but this is what I was a little bit worried about. Phenoxy's team looks better when contested.
All rotating through pump. They're looking pretty good though. They had that big surge base that we saw earlier on. Did get chopped down, but hopefully they were.
What a unique pickaxe for Fred. It's the only pickaxes Fred uses ever.
Doing okay so far. Just lacking in the whites as well. Main focus for them is just how can we make our way in, and this is a team that we talked about that did need a little bit of damage, only 85 above. Let's see the shots here.
I want to see this team qual grands, man. I love this trio. If they're con though, we'll see.
Allowing them to find those extra tags that are going to keep them going through this game.
Fred got 4th in divisional finals uncon. Did he?
They're still going to hop inside of these boxes as Eclipse
Am I forgetting that? I swear that's when they were cons.
The time is ticking, the clock is
ticking.
Maybe
it wasn't.
For them to get this storm surge damage done. Because it's starting to take away at their HP as well, Taco. This is such a huge fight for them because it's a make or break. Particularly now they have to try and get the revive. They're going to do a little bit.
Is that uncon? Okay, my bad then. Okay.
Be enough as Eclipse does full storm surge. There's still
I think when I was paying the most attention was when they were conned by Veno, and then when Veno left, they still struggled. That's what I was kind of a bit worried about.
Of this fight that's going down, they've taken advantage of the fact that this team are getting tagged by Storm Surge, and it's looking only one way for this team, and I think they just got away with it there at the end. They still try and find some more damage.
The T1.
It's not looking good for them. CZB does get a knock. I just don't think it's going to be enough.
It's just the situation that CZB and Nathan were left in. They go from one health box to the next, trying to crank up a little bit of height. They at least have mats to their name, but not much of anything else. CZB
bro, this is such a grief on the backside here. What is happening, bro?
Hoping to just find.
We are griefing.
Michael seemed to be in a whole situation themselves, but that Siphon, at least gonna buy a little bit of time, and Hardline has absolutely no idea of what's actually behind him. CZB just coming in so late.
This is the scrappiest rotate I've ever seen.
Big refresh. And at least while they're a duo, Nathan and CZB, they're going to be able to keep trying to pack a punch, trekking forward.
They're making something out of this at least.
The lobby just no longer paying attention to them.
They are hanging on by a thread right now. Their HP is dwindling. The storm is closing in as well. If they can evade anyone's attention here, then make their way in.
Malibuca's right on the edge here, holding everyone.
Somewhat, particularly looking at their shield, but there are players lurking behind as well. They're unwanted in terms of Nathan and CZB right now. This is a
nice bit of surge.
Duo that we talked about before. I just don't know how he's done that. Another great knock, and they're just keeping on plowing through. They do make it inside of the zone. If they can just evade all this attention from everyone, they might be okay. But as I say that, CZB falls, Nathan falls.
Oh, it's Malibuca. He was holding everyone, bro.
But not quite enough from them in the end.
Smart hold by Malibuca.
Starting to enter the conversation. Malibuca walks and ping. They'll be more than happy to collect some of those leftover resources.
Oh, Malibuca needed the resources. Damn. 17 builds? What happened here?
Team sitting on the opposite end of these walls, and these
Oh,
walls
this is
don't
bad.
belong to them just yet. Malibuca ping and walks a little
there
bit
we go.
tied down here. They're strapped mini, but the problem is whether or not
Mustache is still going, even with Queasy crashing on spawn. Mustache and Swizzy are crazy, man. Little screen share, Queasy just IGLs them from the grave.
Some of the shield that's needed.
Oh, Steady Hari Kami in a good spot too. Remember, chat, the format's super simple. If you get one of the 5 wins, you go to Grants. If you get top 5 without a win, you also go to Grants. So each win is really important. That's a straight Grants ticket.
In terms of the rotation, but look who's not looking in a difficult situation. It's Kami, Seti, and Chari. These guys are in the perfect position just to hold everyone else. All the stragglers at the backside of zone still trying to make their way in. These guys can take advantage
Rising Marco,
right the way up until that zone does close.
Thanks, guys.
This is a trio that always seem to be in the right position. Another great knock there from Chari, and it's hopefully going to be their first elimination of the game. The ability for them just to find themselves in the perfect position every single game.
Ooh, Hydro on the high ground, bro. If Hydro wins game 1, that's already a big upset with so many big teams that need these wins.
Where it goes, they should have it covered, but look at this. Veno down, Vico flicks.
I mean, Hydro's conned that weird-ass little hole, and they got a zone right on top of them, so Hydro needs to make this count.
Vico knows that he has to.
Yeah, no, Veno, not sure what's happened here.
He needs second materials from someone, but it doesn't look as if anybody is willing to budge here. Flixie and Vico just all but exposed at
Come on, the FNCS duo, come on.
To continue buying themselves a little bit more time, a little bit more placement. But it seems
Yeah, Hydro left unconned Shogun to con another spot, it looks like.
Against them. Flixie tries to see if he can get the confirmation, Elin, but it's going to be the end of the road here in game 1.
Mustache and Swizzy as a duo, still looking good over here.
Tough scenes. Can't say the same, though, for Keto, Hydro, and Turtle. They're looking to set themselves up nicely here.
There's no way. If Hydro wins this, bro, this would be such a big upset.
Yeah, they had to set themselves up.
Hydro came 101st to qualify, by the way. He only got in because 2 teams got banned. So this would be a very, very underrated performance.
Is not burn out too quickly. Find those knocks, find those.
Malibuca's looking healthy too, though. Ooh, Swizzy goes down. Mustache, no.
Mustache falls as well. That trio was one that we were expecting. Frankie called it out. She wanted a game 1 win, but unfortunately for her and them.
Steady Hari Kami, the low ground warriors.
Hari and Kami, though, they look like they're setting themselves up nicely to try and go for a counteractive push onto the high ground. Malibuca walks Ping.
No.
They're just caught in the congestion inside the mid.
Or triple baseball bat at least. Ping, but we'll get the Siphon here at least.
That knock onto Chap. The Siphon
Walks goes down.
Moment here for Ping, but instead
8 teams, 22 players. Kami. Bro, Kami is literally the full trio is 100-100. They're so healthy. Kami, Steady Hari are just playing their game to perfection right now. They love their low grounds. There it is. Look, they're literally full health. All 3 of them just chilling. Are they going to play high ground? We're going to get Kami high ground take? Maybe?
Who
Who needs metal? Oh.
Look at where that zone pulls, though, all the way over the hill. So for the low ground teams like Seti, Hammy, and Chari, it's just going to be difficult.
Damn, never mind. Curse the fuck out of him. Unlucky.
They're getting shut down by
Well,
Kaizo, Haijo, and Turtle, who are doing
Kaido's hitting his shots.
doing that, but Cammy now left as a solo, having to solo clutch as much as he can.
Are we going to get Haijo win this?
So we got a bit of Polish action on that second height. Haijo, Kaito, and Turtle. Haijo does drop down.
Cammy solo. Malabuka duo. Bevy's here though. Mixin.
Back down the mountain, but no, Kaito falls. It's fall damage.
Wait a second.
That's going to be a disaster.
Wait, why did Kaito fall? What happened to Kaito? Wait, do we sell? Wait, oh my god, Ping. Wait, Ping solo clutch? Ping's a demon of solos. Ping versus Haijo.
It's all up to Ping, or is it Haijo and Turtle?
It's Haijo and Turtle looking to
Two bills though for Ping.
Ping might have bought himself a little bit more time, a couple more placements, but Haijo, he's actually going to be the next one to fall damage himself.
No, what is happening? Wait, Robin, Trexer, and Cheat taking. Wait, Robin's a full trio. They win. Surely they win. Wait. No, they gotta win. What is happening? This is the scrappiest FNCS game I've ever seen. What the hell happened? Wait, Robin, Cheat, and Trexer just steal this.
For them, they're just going to continue to spray.
Damn.
They know there's not a whole lot standing between them. It's only Mixin. It's only Turtle.
Freest win ever.
Trying to do what they can to prevent themselves from being fully exposed, but
this rotate along the edge of the Demon Dojo mountain has just destroyed this lobby.
So relentless alongside Robin. They're not even looking in Turtle's direction any longer, but they might have to backtrack.
Oh my god, they're stalling this one out.
Finally going to find himself being collected by Cheat and Robin and Trexer, but this is all doomed from the finish.
8 elimination win. Very underrated win. Don't even know what happened here. All right, chat. We'll make the V-Buck giveaway Robin. R-O-B-I-N. It's the easiest one of their names to spell. All right. Was this one of your locks? Fuck no. I did not have Robin, Cheat, and Trexer. I don't think anyone would have had Robin, Cheat, and Trexer in this group. Like, a top 10 maybe. They're definitely not like a terrible team, but bro, with the caliber of teams in this lobby, they definitely were not people's favorites. That's for sure.
Seems to be crumbling down, and everyone seems to be falling at the worst moment.
Let me see. Let me see who was the highest for the prediction though. So Robin was first, Turtle was second, and then Blaha Combat Mixer was the highest for the pred. Okay.
Who just kept on applying that pressure. They had eliminations earlier on as well, so they were
able run the pred again because no one made it out of that one. But yeah, chat, if you guys know the V-Bucks work, you type the word in chat, this time being Robin. Make sure you have your Twitch whispers on. You only have to type it in once, and then you'll get a DM from my mod Merits if you win, and you just get sent the code. Nice and easy. Anyone can win. The code works all around the world.
What do you got to say?
I mean, this is a trio.
Oh, Veno crashed as well. Queasy and Veno both crashed.
You could see that the guys on the high ground Turtles trio, it just wasn't going to be sustainable for them in the end, given that they were so low on ammo in the end. Takata, are you pleased for our first trio of Group 2 going through to next week?
Really scrappy win.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. This is literally the most stacked group in EU, and already off the bat, a lot of those kind of original trios we talked about only made it so far in the late game, but Sheeden, Trexer, and Robin did take home that victory royale. I believe they were landing Hopeful Heights, so that's a new uncontested drop spot on the map now. 11, it's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, Hopeful up for grabs.
You know, I look at all those players and they've all showed me signs at different times.
10 more seconds and we'll call the Robin giveaway. Now we're doing these after every set lobby game for the rest of FNCS for EU and NA, so a lot of V-Bucks to be given away.
Opportunity will come to go up there and ascend to high ground, but I think the cool thing here is like you said, Takata, right? Like, every time a win gets taken up by another team that isn't one of the...
All right, we'll call it there. Thank you, chat. Thanks for entering.
Per se, a bit more pressure, just a bit more pressure every single game. Yeah. And I think this is a good team to do it, right? Because they're a team that, you know, I think definitely deserves a place in the Major 1 finals. And, you know, who knows what they can do? I think the sky's the limit for them.
This is a solid team.
It was a huge game for Haijo, Turtle, and Kaido too, but they just held tight for so long that they used all
Could have slept on this team a bit. The fact they won on a pump power zone from Hopeful, it's not, I guess it's not the worst rotate. At least it's both east side.
Sure, they secured a bunch of placement, a bunch of points for that consistency, but they'll have to try again for the VR, Frankie.
Well, for many of our trios, game 1 was just a warm-up, so let's take a quick break and we'll be back in a few to discuss how it went for them.
Let's go. Now, they saw subs. I think Blue Whale, Geo, Bryson, Min, Cardi, Stevel, Mason, P-Crate, Diego, Sculzy, Jay Clanton is a terrorized noob, Bryce, Marco, Frugal, Martin, Alex, Puri, Sun, Zaps, Swiss. So many subs, chat. Blob, Ethan, Silver, Lethal, Zyro, Reef, Mango, Sympathy, Zesty. Thanks for sub chat. If I missed any, I apologize. There you cook again for the 50 gifted, bro. I appreciate you, man. Did you have Hydra doing that good? I did not, but Hydra was meant to be unconned at Shogun, and Shogun's a shithole. Hey, Kyle, the prime for 3. Even more room for an upset? Oh, yeah. Even more room for the upset now. All right, this is the Death Star game, chat. Death Star game. Death Star game. Bro, if I don't see Darth Vader come out and just fucking slash a bitch, this is not my esport. We'll see, we'll see. Death Star game. That's no moon. You KD8 is right, man. We play doing after groups? Probably gonna play a bit of Fortnite, man. I'm on my path to unwashing, so try and play some Fortnite, bro. Might run some customs with chat, but a lot of you guys will be on super high ping. It'll be much better once I get to LA, like a week out from Pro Am. It'll be much better because at least you guys can, you know, you NA fans and EU have better ping, but unfortunately, we've got to practice on OCE, so. TikTok is going crazy. Apparently, bro. Apparently. I'm appreciating the gas. It's just, bro, it's insane, man. Like, kid's always gonna make this weird, but no ego shit. I'm the second most watched Twitch streamer on Fortnite for like a couple years now, basically. So people know about me, but I've never had anyone give a single fuck about my gameplay until now. And now literally everything I do is under so much scrutiny. Like the Pete effect is crazy, dude. I've got 1.4 million followers on Twitch. I've been doing this shit for years. And now is when it's like, oh fuck, man, I'm feeling the pressure, dude. People are really watching what I do. Like it's insane, bro. People really, really care about Pete. Who's the most watched? Clicks. It's always Clicks, bro.
Welcome back to FNCS. It is Group 2, and you just missed one game.
We're about Death Star game. Apparently, a Death Star is supposed to show up this game potentially.
Falling kind of at the start of the end game, 11-2K, and in the end, it was Robin, Texas, and Cheatin who took the victory royale at the first spot in next weekend's major finals.
Savage, no, nah, it's just based off like viewership. It's been me and Clicks, English speaking, that is.
Going into Major 2 based on the Major 1 performance, and that is Cammy, Seti, and Shari. 11, yes, I took my time, but I got there in the end because this is a trio that everyone is actually, in terms of the pros, in terms of the lobby, is expected to do well. And you know what? I actually thought they were going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was a point in this game where they definitely looked set up for success, but I'm not too worried about them. I think they played a really strong first game. You know, Chari doing what he sort of offers to this team, right? You know, in terms of just bringing that firepower.
But yeah, so chat, there is an announcement today on Fortnite's YouTube about the next season. It's like a Star Wars panel maybe or something. But apparently leakers are saying that a Death Star is going to show up in the next like half an hour on the map, and that's going to kind of like kick it off or some shit. I don't know. I'm trying to follow it, but.
Caught out, so
are you sleek? Are you Tino?
But you know, those points on the balls will be valuable.
I mean, what I love about this trio
here we go.
is
Standings.
So good at
Standings.
minimizing the amount of risks
baby.
they take to consistently get to those end games.
All right, so remember, chat, top 5 you don't get a win, also make it. Right now, Turtle, Combex, Sengil, Ping, and Della.
Turtle, Kaido, and Haijo doing great, but, you know, Cammy and Seti sitting in 7th place. It's comfortable for now. I think as the day goes on, they'll slowly push their way up.
Well, why don't we talk about Hydro, Turtle, and Kaijo, because this is a trio that took an established.
Yeah, this is the hardest lobby in groups by far.
Start of the end game, they were looking comfortable up there until, oh god, it sounds like a cliche, until they weren't, guys. They're running out of ammo, and unfortunately for Hydro, things took a turn for the worst. Levin.
A tumble. Yeah, what happened with the tumble here? Let's see. Hydro drops down. Yo, this is fine. Didn't get the match though. Oh, he didn't get the match. No, that was a bit of a blunder.
Because when you're on height in zones like this, it is just so tough to keep going because you're not getting that many limbs and then like, you're not getting the loot from it, right? So they're so low on mats, they're trying to not build as much, they're just down to wood, and so you just make yourself an easy target.
Yeah, especially after getting chopped down, limited mats. It's just not really the recipe for success, but that comes with holding height so early on in the match.
I am so happy the grappler is in for Pro-Am, because oh my god, bro, I don't want to sell on height so bad. Grapple's nice. A nice little height save. Like the baseball bat, the fact you have to like predict the chop just makes it so much riskier to just have a full damage clip.
Takata, is there any point in trying to establish the high ground in Zone 8? Because I feel like we see so many trios and duos in the past not able to sustain their way to that victory royale. So I'm just wondering if is it worth the risk?
Well, it's definitely worth the risk. I mean, there's a lot of ways to counter it. You need to look for those refreshes. Even if you're on height, you have to be applying pressure in the correct areas. And I mean,
oh yeah, obviously I've already died once with the grapple, but
pulling back, not having to use materials, or even a big elevation change where a majority of the teams down below have to fight for their
actually the grapple is kind of easy to miss time sometimes too as well. You're right.
A majority of the time, and even though you go down in the later segment of the game, you still.
No, I know I'm posing. No, I don't want to go height at all in a grapple meta because kids are just gonna psycho on it. But I'm saying if I am on height, I'm a little bit more confident if I have a grapple, because at least I'm not going to die.
Things, if you're comparing it to like last season, Frankie, because we saw it a lot last season, especially, it probably makes less sense now, right, than it did last season for a bunch of different reasons to do with just the actual meta itself. But I think we'll still see teams.
Baseball bat only is a sketchy height meta, bro.
I'm satisfied with that answer. Veno, Vico, and Flixie, we don't see them in this first page. I don't know if we're able to see the second page of the standings. It was a little bit of a disappointing one for them. You know what? It's okay to have a slow game one though, Levin, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be panicking. I think you know, when you're a team like this, you know, when they went down, I had a comment in the green room. I was like, oh, not great, you know, and Takata sort of said like, yeah, but I got a bunch of limbs, right? And it's like, that's what these guys will do, right? As long as they can just keep on getting, you know, good amount of limbs in these games and getting ready.
So Veno and Queasy crashing game one is tough, bro. That's a real tough one. Very, very tough.
You know, it's not too bad of a start.
They're currently in 12th, aren't they, Takata?
They are. I'm not worried. I'm with, you know, Levin on this one. A lot of the top names aren't in that, you know, top 5 from the ones that you would have originally expected, but it's only game 1. We've got 4 more matches to be played out. You can qualify both from the VR and consistency. My question is, there's just too many big name trios to have them all qualify, you know? So who are going to be those ones as these matches goes on and those spots from the VRs keep getting claimed? You know, it's going to get interesting, so I'm excited.
Who's it going to be? Who's the upset?
Who's the upset?
Yeah,
who's not going through, you mean, Levin?
You said somebody's not going to make it through, so I'm asking you.
Oh,
we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Levin,
like you said,
Levin's on smoke. Let's go.
Queasy's in the top 10, but you know, it'll still happen.
I'm chucking you off the desk. You need to commit to the bit. Game 3. I want your predictions.
Who do you think it's going to be, chat? I'm kind of a bit. I'm not scared for.
Minimana and Taco here, back at it again. I'm excited here, though, for game number 2, Taco. I think game number 1 didn't disappoint. There was so many different elements.
Malibu, Malibu's a crazy one.
Really well. So many big name teams that maybe didn't perform as well as we expected, and then some other ones that made it to endgame and had a solid game as well.
It's certainly a little bit shakier than
Fred?
we would have expected for some of the more prominent teams.
I don't know why I've got a feeling. I think it's because all the Savage fans are coping on it being Fred. I don't know why Fred just feels right, but I feel terrible saying that because I actually love Fred. I like that trio a lot. CZB wouldn't be a huge upset because they're con, man.
For teams that didn't have the greatest start to make
I wouldn't say CZB would be a huge upset if they don't make it out of this group. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Just because they're con already and not the greatest drop, and they're a good team, but they're not like a Malibuka team, you know?
Until that final game is done, so many opportunities for our teams here. And I think what's going to be interesting now, who's going to land at sort of that hopeful heights area. And for now, though,
yes, my favorite pro. Here we have this guy. Oh, but that guy has a shotgun. That's going to be good. And this guy has the collateral. Nice. And he gets an elimination. All 3 of these guys getting eliminations.
Trio. And not only that many, but it's a pretty volatile 50-50 for some of these off-spawn contested moments.
CZB's uncon now. Wait, is he? I thought he was supposed to be cons. Never mind. If CZB's uncon, that's solid. I wouldn't put it on the upset as the same level as like a Malibuka or Vico not making it, but
remember they didn't get the better.
That's 80 and hard finding Michael chat with the Asian names.
Bounce back, get some points established on that leaderboard if they're able to clean things up entirely.
The off-spawn, though, at Demon's Dojo here. And Lex.
Yeah, we're missing a team right now.
The first knock onto
wonder which team didn't connect.
There. Really nicely done from him. This is where this team now needs to just close on in, try and find the final two.
Oh,
nice
this is good. Every game that the Frenchies go dojo is better for Queasy. There was rumors they might surprise Cotton Queasy.
A lovely knock. And ends up making it a 3v1. And you can see that's why Antics is just deciding to get out as far as possible. Unfortunately for him, those Sky Jumpers spotted him out. This can only end one way, and it's going to end in the way of the Frenchies who dominate there or spawn at Demon's Dojo. And it was all started by that Anderlex picking up the
Lucy didn't get in?
Shotgun, getting up close and finding that one big tag to initiate that fight.
Big thing too is that you don't want to leave any survivors. Axe Force.
No, don't lose this.
Sit and wait. Della though won't be able to make it out.
Epic, stop showing the spawn fight, man.
They're gonna be able to find themselves with a good opening regiment here at Kappa Kappa Factory. Take a look back at where things went wrong. Unfortunately for Della, absolutely nowhere left to run. And that's just the way things go.
Now I can't breathe.
Sometimes for teams. You might see them have success in one lobby, but then not so much going into the next. Expect that around game 3 is where we might see some of these teams begin to shuffle around, especially as the map opens up and we see more teams finding their seats in that Major 2 Finals battle bus. Haijo, Kaido, and Turtle, though, they were so close to victory in that first match.
I've got a video on it, Kelly.
To see everything.
So that's the video. The super brief explanation is everyone who got Division 1 got to play in an Opens tournament. The top 99 teams from that Opens tournament are playing in these groups. There's 3 groups, so 33 in each group. There's 5 games in each group. If you win a game, you go straight through to Grands. And if you get top 5 without a win, you go through to Grands. That's how 30 of the teams go through. Then there is one more round called the Last Chance Qualifier, where it's anyone, literally anyone can play it who's eligible for tournaments. There's 2 rounds to that tournament. It ends in set lobbies, 33 teams, 3 games. If you win a game, you go to Grands. That's the briefest summary of the format. If that didn't make sense, though, go watch the video. That's like the briefest explanation.
Seaport City. I think it's quite fair for them now to.
And then in Grands, depending on the region, a certain amount of spots in Grands go through to the LAN at the end of the year. So top 5 from EU and top 3 on NA are going to qualify for the LAN.
Haijo and Kaito. Unfortunately for Momsy, he does go down. And it's now all up to Sky Jump. You would have maybe said in hindsight he should have taken a shot, but not quite to be. But there's another team, another lurker up on top of that hill. So
yeah, the Last Chance Qualifier, 3 wins to Grands is very high. It had a big impact last season on EU especially. We had Vanya's team get one of those wins, went on to get 3rd in Grand, so big impact. And it got the Frenchies in that then ended up contesting Cammy, so.
They're definitely aware of the fact that there is another team trying to enclose on their current position. They're going to fall back temporarily. And wait, they know Risk has
Turtle kind of had to, missed it. No.
Advantage. It's Turtle opting to just fall back fully into the buildings here at Demon's Dojo.
Once you win a game of this and you qual, you have to stop playing. If you queue up again, the rule is you forfeit your spot. We had a bit of drama with Booga's team queuing up again, and then they just went and died because they realized they weren't supposed to queue up again. And there was a lot of drama over people getting upset that they didn't get DQ'd, but they got an official competitive warning, and everyone else got reminded that if you do queue up again, you will be DQ'd. That was like the one warning, because no one's ever done that before.
Unzen and Dom having a really nice bit of off-spawn fighting. Unfortunately, though, it's another third-party situation. It's Abdel, YZY, and Buzz who are able to hop on in here. Hop on in they do, and it's Abdel that finds that first knock and eventual elimination onto Unzen. And but Ewik can manually breathe. Who's Domtat?
Damn it!
They have to try and disengage and try and pick up the pieces there later.
You think it automatically stops you? Yeah, Fortnite's never had issues like who can and can't queue for tournaments before.
To the hillside just outside of Crime City. Chaptini and Scavia, team that we did get to see a little bit in that last game, but they were taken out in that sort of mid-game fight, weren't they? So I think they'll be looking to maybe change up their approach this game. You can see them building a massive surge tower. Zone seems to be a little bit more favorable for them. So maybe we'll
You'll still be able to play if you win a game? That is a terrible opinion, bro.
Necessarily the best finish.
I have to imagine you don't follow Conf 1 very often, dude.
Placement overall, 8th overall, so not too great, but also not too bad.
But if there's one thing that Chaptini and Svi excel at, it's definitely close combat. It seems like they've spotted out.
Queen is my favorite pro.
Trying to venture into the vault here at Crime City. Svi just circling the building, letting Chap and Teeny find those split angle approaches. V catches.
I can kind of see it defend your drop spot. It's chat. You can't trust me. The way Fortnite plays out, man.
Now the trio fully split. This is exactly what Chap and Ski are after.
Let's say Vico wins this game, right? Vico wins game 1. He can literally be like, cool, so I'm just going to spend the next 4 games completely griefing for an Oxy so I can try and steal his dropping grands. Like, it's just, Epic don't want those looks, trust me. It would be terrible looks.
Chap and Teeny. They were hoping for a fight.
Or literally, or like that's at least like a tactical grief. They could literally be like, yeah, that CZB guy talks shit on Twitter me, let's grief his whole grands. And then just kill CZB every game. Like, it's just, you can't.
Really nicely done from these guys, as you say, just sort of isolating each individual, taking on one player as a duo, finding different angles, and that's what the best teams at fighting are so good at. For Twy, Harlow, and Kovacs, they're able to find a nice first knock.
Yeah, it's all good, man. To be fair, honestly, dude, I wish I lived in a world where I trust pros to, like, keep playing seriously if they've already quelled. But yeah, man, the reality in Fortnite, if you've already quelled for a tournament, you have to stop queuing. Pros are just, yeah. Unless there's prize money.
That final shot to take them out. This has been a little bit messy of a fight for these guys, but it's still in their favor.
Are you Sturjoy with the prime?
They're still trying to find those final 2, and the longer this fight drags out for Taco, the more chance you give for those third parties, which we've seen so often.
Twy's flying. Twy's crazy, bro. Twy's been crazy.
The demise of a lot of teams, and Twy here just has to try and find that final shot. Doesn't quite connect as he gets the wall. Looking from all other angles. So much piece control in this area as well. Voltiac's doing a fantastic job at staying alive, but Kovacs is there to help.
Oh my god.
Taking out Cool. Now it's a 3v1 situation.
This is Kovacs.
The tides of
my gym grinder.
It's completely flipped, but you say could have been flipped a little bit sooner as Voltiac's also falls.
It's the fact that Voltiac's even survived as long as he did in the first place. That was looking like a 1 versus 3 for the longest time.
Oh, Vico's taking a fight too. Nice. Who is this?
Vico, Flixie, Veno.
Ooh, 3 limbs. Nice.
Collecting the early game surge in a very familiar way to them.
Also, prize will be added back to Heats and Quals. I think Fortnite's missing the opportunity of turning the divisional cups into FNCS. I think the last 3 divisional cups should have double the prize pool, and they should be the qualifiers for groups, and it should be based on series points gained in those 3 divisional cups. It forces teams to stay together for longer unless they want to split and get really confident in their series points, but
take his time, just making sure to.
So the problem, Fortnite kind of finessed this a bit, and I don't feel like not enough people talk about it. They removed the prize money from FNCS qualifiers because they added auto quals, and it made no sense if you auto qual to Greyers to stop playing for money. Then they removed auto quals, but then didn't put the money back. Now they've brought back auto quals again though in this format, but I would much rather prize money and no auto quals.
The home for Seti. He's not going to be.
I know, Bucky. I know, man. The original weeks format was so good. With prize money, it was just, oh. Then they removed prize money and made auto quals, and we had fucking Kanata as a giant corn cob dancing on hide and dying because he didn't want to qual. Like, it was just, yeah.
Big surge base yet, but I'm sure
that was the best FNCS format we ever had. Weeks with prize money and then proper heats.
Gives them so many opportunities, so much flexibility on how they want to play the game, that consistent play style that we expect from this trio. You know, they have what it takes in terms of skill and caliber to win a game. And they have got better at that, but a team that we would expect to consistently make it through this lobby without fail, you'd imagine, because of the skill and the class of these players. But of course, as lots of people have mentioned, this is probably the hardest heat in terms of names. This is one of the most stacked heats or groups.
Like Stark Season?
In terms of the names on
yes. I think Stark Season was the last season that ran like that, right, Bucky? I think it was.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see.
I think Sand Season or I think Primal might have been the first season with the bad format. I can't remember. It was around mid chapter 2 when they changed it. Yeah. And I'm not expecting like Season X prize pool where Mongrel's team won like 100 fucking grand in quals each. Like that was wild. But just something. Even just divisional cup prize pools enough to make it exciting.
Enabling themselves just to give themselves a little bit of surge.
Yeah, Stark Season was the last one they did. Okay.
One thing that some of these teams are certainly discovering is that even if they are successful with some of these off-spawn fights, the introduction of
Chapter 2 Season 5 is when they started the bad format. Okay.
Going to leave you considering how you actually want to play around a successful off-spawn fight. Because you can
no, I think Stark had still the good format, Bucky.
And sealed off.
Because I remember being on the broadcast for a little bit with the good format, and then the season with the bad format. I remember getting off the game where Kanata was dancing on height, and I literally had to message Epic and was like, guys, we got to do something about this. Like, you can't have me casting a team on high ground trying not to win. Like, any format where you're incentivized to not win is a bad format.
Strong promise, but everybody's kind of just waiting for that standout feature.
Yeah, definitely. They have what it takes. They have the skill.
I mean, I'm sitting here pretending to be like, oh, yes, Kanata seems to be really celebrating early. This could spell disaster. Like, fuck. Like, I know what he's doing, but I can't say it.
Group, Eclipse and Twy. So I can only imagine what their household is like at the moment in terms of comms.
Yeah, Bucky, I think it was you. I was going to say, I think you were with Kanata. Yeah. Yeah, you guys were fucking wearing troll skins dancing on height because you didn't want to win. Because in the old format, if you won, you then couldn't lock down your drop for the rest of the season, basically. Like, it was even worse format than this.
Very competitive as well, so I'm sure there's debates at the dinner table.
Yeah, it was you, Kanata, and Macwood.
Without a doubt.
Trolling my shit, bro.
That we're actually taking a moment to see what's actually taking place here with Ping, Malabuka, and
at least now with the auto quals, like, teams actually want to win given the chance. So the auto qual format's gotten better, but
Germany for a boot camp. So knowing
he flees the prime for 3, so it's gotten better, but why didn't he want to win? The old format was like super easy to qual if you're a good team, and if Bucky, like, they didn't split the groups into 3 separate groups. You only played 1. You could play all 3. So if Kanata won that game with Bucky and Macwood, they had a month off, basically. Couldn't hold down their drop, couldn't practice. It was terrible. 42 in this, 42 players lobby were in Grands last season. Yeah, this is the most stacked group chat.
Navigate this sort of group when you have so many different players. I know Malabuka, Ping, Walks, they've been landing at Lone Wolf the whole season. They're still trying to figure out
very passive mid game. Like no one's fighting.
Trying to claim some of the metal around that sort of drop spot, trying to almost increase the area in which they try and operate in that sort of location. So they're still figuring things out.
Oh, here we go, chat. The Death Star didn't show up this game, but apparently this is supposed to... Oh, wait for it to download. Come on, internet. Come on. What do I pay for 5 or 4? Apparently this is supposed to show up at the start of every game. I'll show you once it's downloaded.
That's all that matters. And again, another sort of storm.
I wanted the Death Star. Damn it.
Don't actually have eliminations. It looked as though...
Apparently this is supposed to happen at the start of every game.
So I think it must have been Storm that knocked one of them out rather than a fight, potentially. Which is always difficult. And they're sort of third-partying here into the area of Malabuka.
Oh, it's going to be great for server performance. This shouldn't affect the pro's frame rate at all.
How they're going to approach it, because we know how good this team can be, but I think they're aware of that third party just rolling on through.
What does it do? I don't fucking know.
The expectations on them.
Oh my god, it's the artillery star destroyer bombardment, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Lobbies. I like the way they're playing this. They're not just going all out here in this fight against Glove.
That's been happening? Oh wait, really? When did that start happening? That's been happening since yesterday. Oh, really? I've been playing Reloads. I don't know. That's where the boss is. Oh, cool. Well, it looks like nothing Star Wars related happened then, I guess.
All that easily, but both of these trios at Lone Wolf.
Yo, what's up, Moxie? How's it going? Sorry, how you go to you, Moxie?
Team lurking nearby. Unfortunately for Prax, the moment that he tries to actually leave the area.
I mean, Moxie, we're enemies now. You're gonna get shit on. Nah, I suck at the smack talk. I'm gonna be the worst smack talker at Pro Am for sure.
Yet again, just burning through.
I can't do it. I'm like, I want everyone to have a fun time. Hope everyone performs well and everyone enjoys the event.
This just develops here, Mini, because Lone Wolf.
Am I ready for Pro Am? Definitely not Moxie. 100% no, but I'm day by day getting more and more unwashed.
Their side, even considering that they're the ones primarily in control of all the goodies in store at Lone Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, some of the better teams as well. They will sort of.
And I'm playing with Pete. Yeah.
Those heals or.
Shit on! Fucking dancing on him, and I'm just gonna be like, oh man. I hope they had a fun event.
Location better than the other teams that are sort of rotating in, so they definitely have the advantage there. Vico, Venom, Flixie, not necessarily the greatest start for them, but I share the same feeling as the analysts.
Thank you, Moxie.
This is not something.
I am a little bit concerned. People are taking one clip, being like, "Damn, Moxie's fucking crazy." If you watched yesterday, there was some highs,
today, even disqualified.
A lot of lows.
I'm sure they won't mind.
The consistency is where I'm lacking right now.
And it's a team that still have been.
Vehicles Flixie had the top 3 most damage in the play-ins.
They were on a bit of a tear last season. They were by far the best team going into the Major 1 finals. Now things are a little bit different in terms of the landscape of the region. And I think a lot of that is to do with them sort of switching drops and maybe not having that same solidity that we've seen from them previously. But that doesn't take anything away from what they're able to do when it does come to these lobbies. They still are one of, if not the best team in the region. So expect them to qualify through.
Yeah, Slow Banana, they survived a 7. Yeah, the grappler was, yeah. That was a low. That was a low. I can't even blame the grappler. I think I just switched to my shotgun somehow. I don't know how the fuck I did that.
In the last season,
you ate it with the Prime for 6?
Almost always going to be Venovico Flixie without question. But now there are definitely a good amount of people questioning whether or not they can continue to maintain their title as the holding on to that Blade of Champions, and all these other teams, especially some of the teams competing here today.
Who do you think would probably if not you and Pete? I still don't think me and Pete are the favorites, man. I'm just not even trying to like take the pressure off, bro. It's just like you got Clicks and Lacey and Ron and Kanata, bro, who are already doing late night token practice together. 2 players who have both earned one FNCS winner and a guy who was earning in solos like a year and a half ago, man, who are already practicing and have established chemistry with both the pros they're playing with.
From hillside positions.
Like, if that's not your favorites, I don't know. Like, Pete's Pete, I get it, but like, bro.
Chino, Pablo Wingu, and Fred Oxy.
That's a disgusting couple duos. Cooper Zemi, disgusting, already practicing. Booga TG, like, bro, there's so many good teams. Summer Thomas.
In the same room in certain cases.
I know I'm playing with Pete, so it's always going to put us near the top of the list, but
it's a team that
either I'm underestimating Pete, or you guys overestimating Pete compared to some of these teams. Or you're overestimating me.
This is not an ideal situation for them at all because there's nobody nearby.
That is true. That is true. Pete was solo clutching in a lobby of only pros. So, like, I get it. Trust me, I get it. But I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, we're the favorites to win, bitch. And it banks entirely on Pete just being generational. You know what I mean? Like, what if Pete just wakes up tired? Like, you know what I mean?
Now their first elimination is going to be good, but it's not.
I'm the only team that people are putting in their favorites list that relies entirely on the pros. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, we fucking got this, bitch. Like, I have no input, bro. I still fully believe Pete is underrated. Really? You think so, Fucky? Yeah.
Also keeping tabs.
Yo, what's up, Dorf Dad? You have to carry that team? I got this, Dorf Dad. I've been practicing.
Currently, and this is damage that can always play a really big part, especially when you're functioning as a duo amongst a sea of trios here.
Shockwaves is definitely the saving grace for me. If Pete gets endgame with 6 Shockies and 5-5-5, I did my job. I didn't milk too hard, you know? It's in God's hands at that point.
But at this point, Manny, it's just holding other teams at bay. Zara might have been successful at the start of that, but not sure it's actually going to play to his advantage.
Ooh, nice, Nathan.
It's these fights that can really turn the tides of your game right now, as we see Nathan CZV Eclipse there finding some success in their earlier fights, and this is really what can set you up for the end game. You know,
nice.
Zone, getting that storm surge done nice and early. They're going to have so
British boys, and what the fuck is this?
Through this game, but no ping is down. Malabuka also down. It's all up to Wox, who decides to dip.
Oh no!
He's going to have to try and find this revive onto Ping, as Malabuka, unfortunately,
what is happening?
On from the sidelines.
We're in 5-2 zone territory.
Tier 1-8er.
This is not helping any of these teams that are currently involved. Wox will at least find Siphon, so he'll be able to extend it just a moment longer. But he'll have to use the bulk of this Chug Jug just to get even close.
Wait, we had storm sickness. We had storm sickness.
That would have been cutting him off in the first place.
How do we already have storm sickness when, like, where are we? Where are we on the map right now? Is this Seaport?
For some of these leading
Dude, how do we get storm sickness from Lone Wolf to Seaport?
Their downfall might just be the upcoming for some of our other teams. V, Teeny,
well, that's
and
not
Shad.
good.
They seem like they've got things figured out for the most part here. So they're looking to just try and establish solid position.
Seaport City endgame though. Where's Queasy? How's he looking?
Primary focus, but Venovico and Flixie
Cammy, Veno's over here. Where's Queasy? I'm blind.
Coming through from that team. As we get to see some of the wounded teams that have been trying to get involved in those fights inside of the storm. We saw what happened to Malabuka, Ping, and Wox, and somewhat to...
He's in the middle? He's in the middle on height. Of course he is. Hey, height, don't die.
Watching on.
Is he on the antenna? Is that what's in the middle? I'm trying to think of what's on the middle here. He must be on the antenna.
The threshold, so they're still looking for damage. They're over peaking, really. But they have to. They have no other choice here, Attacker. They need to try and find as much damage as possible, because when you're a duo, what's most important for them now is just trying to stick together. And
here we go. There he is. Let's go. W broadcast. Queasy, Swizzy Mustache, just ramping up. Not even on the antenna. Oh, we ready? Oh, that's not a good zone. That's not a good zone.
They have to focus on that max pull 8 zone. It's not going to be easy for them. It's Swizzy, Mustache, and Queasy. How are they going to rotate this?
But if you give Queasy practically max mats from 8
oh, they're 5-5-5.
It's hard to imagine them not being able to translate that into a victory later on down the line. Still, never.
Yeah, for sure, Dorf Dad.
Your eggs before they hatch.
500 above here for Cammy, though. Wait, did I see Plasma Rifle? That could be bad for Queasy. That could be very griefy.
Cammy, Seti, Hari.
Piksovsky has it right now. Piksovsky, I don't think, is going to try and hold this confidently. Zangi's going for it. Zangi ramping it? Yo, the Italians just ramped up and took it. Wait a second. The Italians have made a big play early for height. Is that good or bad for Queasy? It is. The Italians went for it, man. Damn.
Points of the edge of zone. Peshka way back on the backside of the zone. Likely going to be picked off anytime soon here. Is Hydro, Turtle.
5 healers for Hydro again.
Trying to see if they could ramp up, but it's
not
going to be a success operation just
Yeah,
yet.
taking height this early in 8 zone is interesting. The only team I'm confident when they take height this early is Queasy. Anyone else who does that, I feel like they're just griefing. We'll see. Especially in a lobby with this many good players too. If you're in like a whatever lobby, maybe they just give up on you, but it's good teams to be looking for this.
Which is the main thing that's still in the game, which can all go wrong sometimes. But for
he's not full height, he's just above everyone else. No, this is full height. Dude, they spent like 500 mats ramping and re-established guy, bro. This is height.
Did let it crumble. Are this team going to be different? Are they going to be able to pick up those?
The 44 bills tells you that they tried to take height.
Required to stay up. Are they going to fall to the same fate? I'm hoping for them that they can just use this zone pullback to their advantage.
Where's Veno? He's right here, bro. Veno's chilling. Veno's here, Cammy, Fred, but I don't see Fred's teammates.
They do so, but all the teams, you can even just see Chap here just looking up. They're keeping tabs on what height are doing. Because
155 below.
From height.
We got 4 kills and we're 155 below.
Good job at applying pressure. Teeny and Co, they're really struggling to get through this lobby right now, particularly since they're below on Storm Surge. They've got about 14 different things to think about.
They got a lot of mess to pop here though if they want to try and take it.
Right
but
now,
Fred's solo. Oh.
Next, and well, we saw High Ground committing a lot of material early on, and pullback is definitely going to be something that Swizzy, Murstache, and Queasy are keeping in mind. They're going to opt to tank a little bit of Storm. They've got Memnis grenades though, and just finding an optimal position.
This is good by Queasy. It's usually a good sign by Queasy. We're saving a lot of mats.
Into their current builds, they will be able to defend themselves.
Zangi's got to start running out of gas here. Yeah, 21 builds. We took it too early.
Back up the top. Rickbor, Zara, Zangi, they're gonna find themselves chopped, and Rickbor, a full trio.
Vico, Veno, Flixie, baby, let's go. I feel bad. I love the Italians too, but we definitely saw that coming. Bro, why is Twitch selling?
Perfect height retake here from Vico, Veno, and Flixie. They just mirrored height down below. They couldn't see them. The team up on high ground.
Here we go. Come on, Veno.
Getting chopped out, which is why they went down to full damage.
It's not a free win, though. We still got a really healthy Queasy. I see a really healthy Cammy. Chat's team still going. It's not a free win.
It will be them. You can just see them.
Veno with the 60 limbs, bro.
Refreshes. It's Veno all the way up on top. Vico, Flixie, that are looking to try and find so many of this piece control, so much control of the rest of the lobby. And they can
Vico's dropping down. Vico, Veno, Flixie aren't even playing for the win, bro. They're dropping down. They're conditioning the lobby, bro. Vico's fragging out, man. Oh my god. Yo, Vico's been let off the leash.
But look at what Swizzy, Queasy, and Murstache are doing. They're trying to control that ultimate front side low. They're actually managing to stay.
This could still be a good fight here. We could see Veno versus Queasy.
They're not trying to let up anytime soon here. Vico just hoping to confirm as many eliminations possible. Swizzy.
Murstache goes down. Never mind. It's not going to be Queasy. It's Chap.
We know what they're capable of.
Chap versus Veno, maybe?
Trio no longer gonna
bro, Fred's still going as a solo. Fred is clutching up the points. Yo, Dolph that. Thank you, homie.
It's Vico, Veno, Flixie. They're gonna have to deal with eventually.
Yeah, they're still playing these.
Yo, top 6 here for Fred was a big solo clutch. He's got to be going down here, though. Top 6, not bad at all.
Just a moment ago, and now Fred Oxy goes down as well. That's going to be a huge number of eliminations for this team. They've still got so many materials as well. Veno's
12 eliminations. Oh, Zoe's pulling up this little hill. Wait, Veno's dropping.
This is where they need to try and look down at everyone else and just close them all out.
Wait, Blaha, Mixon, and Combeck. Oh, wait a second. They take down Flixie. Flixie drops on the walls and goes down to the triple pump, but he's in a lot of damage here. Combeck goes down. Veno finishes him off. Wait a second. Wait, Chad, Teeny, and Skibby have the trio advantage? Wait a second. Wait. Oh, Vico's playing aggressive, but we need to focus on the trio. Vico! Oh my god! Bro, 2v3, 2v3, 2v3. Get up, get up, get up, get up! No, we didn't get up in time. It's Veno on a 1v3.
But Veno, he's the only one left standing.
Chat, Teeny, and Skivvy steal it from the low ground.
All the way from that
Damn.
low ground. This is exactly what they were playing for, Mini.
Damn.
Perfectly played there.
Great points there for Vico, Venom, Flixie for the consistency, though. Great points.
So well. So well that they were fighting and
damn. All right, chat. We'll make the V-Buck giveaway. Chap, nice and easy. CHAP chat.
The power was reduced, but
yeah, Flixie went for the trio. Mixon's team triple pumped him on the wall. So chat, if you guys win some V-Bucks, just type the word chat in chat. Even 5 gifted, Dorf. Dad, appreciate that, homie.
The beginning of the game,
the hate gifted.
That momentum through. They picked up eliminations on low ground. They kept themselves going, and when the opportunity was right, when it was just down to Venno, they pounced, and there was no way they were going to let that one up. Really well played from our low ground team, and they are going to be in the Major 2 finals.
Yeah, it should come as no surprise, really. Chap, Teeny, and Spee, a lot of people had them on their radar, but what
I feel like they were playing 100%, but they definitely were playing 100% for the win, no.
Say that this is a trio that
they dropped down and got very aggressive.
The entire game.
Maxi?
And I think that there's going to be a few people in the lobby breathing a sigh of relief. Yes, you kind of want
that means Crime City
Venno
Uncon
and
now.
his crew to be out of there, but these guys, the way that they were tearing things up, it's going to be a relief to everyone concerned, Levin.
Oh, Fredoxy did say that Fred thought that Vico might try and grief him today.
Talk about Venom Vico Flixie and how amazing that game was from them. But they kind of did a lot of the heavy
if Vico, Venom, Flixie had one more game like that and guaranteed the top 5, they could start putting some pain in on Fred, which would be really bad for Savage too.
Who were playing aggressively themselves, to be fair. It wasn't like they were just passengers sitting by. But by the end there, it was just like they were just sat there and they didn't really have to do much. A lot of the hard work got done. Great game played from these guys, though, to just bide their time in that end game, stay front side, stay in good positions to capitalize.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to be fair, they did.
All right, 10 more seconds, chat. We'll call the chat giveaway.
What was important was in those last moments, they were still all up. They were close to each other. They could play together. Meanwhile, as Mini called out, Flixie did get knocked down a little before Vico and Venno, leaving them as a duo. And honestly, they were probably just feeling themselves fragging out completely as they were getting so many elims. But, you know, in the end, they got a little ahead of themselves, and Chap, Teeny, and Skivvy capitalized on that.
But, I mean, look at those boys, though.
Why is it bad for Savage, bro? What do you mean? If Venno wants to go Mars Meadows in Grands, bro? Very bad for Savage.
I'm so excited to see what they cook up in the lobby, because these are 3 names that actually I feel like the finals
that's nothing but bad for Savage.
Bereft without. So I'm so glad that they've made it through, but I'm also very glad that Vico, Venno, and Flixie are still in the lobby, and we'll get to talk more about them and the other trios.
Yeah, if Venno starts targeting Fredoxy, it's because he wants Mars Meadows. He's not doing it just because he hates Fred. Remember, Venno wanted Mars Meadows, but Fred wouldn't leave. Then Savage takes Venno's split. Yeah. It's a much harder drop, though. We'll see, though. We'll see. Apparently, Fred said that he had a feeling that Vico was going to start griefing him, so I'm basing off that, but we'll see. I think Venno's drop is solid, like way better than people think it is, and I think it suits his playstyle a lot. I don't think it's as good as Mast, but I think in the hands of Venno, it can still be an FNCS winning drop. Think Darkest, the prime for 2. Spades, Charlie, Zen, Maxi, Dorf there with the 5 gifted, Shadow, Hazard, Hetty, Worked, Robert, Keys, Lacey's biggest fan, Thank, Jimmy, Aiden, Slow Banana, Zayak, Carissa, Fleas, Maxi, Swiffy, is it? Sam, Sturjoy, Kuzi, Jiggles, Reaper, Jibble, Dobby, Yasin, Flame, Venom. They subs, I appreciate y'all. Hopefully that's all of it. Thank you. They have enough points so far to grieve? Probably. Really? Nah, their first game wasn't that good, bro. Hey, Sticky, the 29, bro. Yeah, Savage plays tomorrow, chat, in Group 3. Oh, in chat, like I was saying, we got 2 things. We're doing a giveaway on my mouse pads. If you guys want to win one, I'll put the link in chat. But then also, we finally got the restock through, chat. Appreciate your guys' patience. I'm sorry it took so long. Customs was a bitch, but we now have the Eternal Harmony and the Wild Emerald and Sapphire Summits back in stock. Oh wait, no, looks like Sapphire Summit's not yet, but The Wild Emerald and Eternal Harmony we did. W. For those of you guys who've been waiting. Why was there a week between Group 1 and Group 2? Just, honestly, in my opinion, just really not great scheduling. I don't know why they do this. Like, I look at the amount of tournaments they have on and how they do them, and it just, I don't know. It's the same as how every season they put a solo cash cup on the same day as FNCS and don't change it until like 2 days out. I just don't think the person scheduling at Epic like does what I do, where they literally put it all out in the calendar. If you put it all out in the calendar and you look at it, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I think he's Shadow with a tier 1.
Welcome back to FNCS Season 2, Group 2. And guys, I'm not going to lie, things are about to get nasty because we have got to take a look back at Veno, Flixie, and Vico and how they stole height at the end of Game 2. It was a dirty play and it was delicious.
Yeah, but you know what, Frankie? Usually people who like steal things, you know, are a bit, you know, sneaky about it. These guys had a bit of bravado about it. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, look at that. Seeing all the health bars going down at the same time is so comical. We've seen them do this so many times in many seasons, and I think the most interesting thing about when they got on height to Carter for me was just how quickly Vico and Flixie got off of it. Look, like they take height and instantly both of them drop down to second height and are just like, it is time to eliminate everybody.
I mean, I don't think Vico Flixie even went on height. I mean, Veno got on up. They saw they got 3 eliminations. Vico Flixie said, all right, I was going to go down second height. Started basically box fighting every player on second height, getting elim after elim and just continuing that aggression. But you can see it paid off in terms of eliminations. Ultimately, they weren't able to get that VR, but with the amount of elims that they picked up, Levin, I'm sure they're happy with how it played out.
Yeah, like I said before the break, I was expecting for us to be talking about them winning the game. And so what I was gonna say was like, hey, look, they won the game, but a part of me is like, did you guys really need to do all that? Like, they were playing mad aggressive. And I guess now I can use that and say that kind of cost them towards the end, right? Like Flixie going down there. They got a bit unlucky with the zone pool. I think they...
So what do we got? So Veno's team's on 129. Nowhere near safe now to start griefing people, chat. Not even in first. So we got Combeck, Vico, Sengil, Turtle, and Seti.
They'll be more than fine with where they are now.
Can I also counter that, Levin, with the suggestion that they're just going for as many limbs as possible? Because once they've got the victory royale, then they are through. So it's more of an insurance policy at this point, especially as they did decide to drop down from the high ground.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like, again, that game is still just a fantastic game. The kind of game that just sets you up to just go into cruise control for the rest of the day.
Well, let's talk about Queasy's trio, because this trio looked in
Qual will be less than 210. I'm almost positive it'll be less than 210, but...
Carter, weren't we going, okay, right,
yeah, with the donut on YouTube, Mike Side Pro, I am.
Take, and then it didn't quite come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, you can see here.
Feeling better? Yeah, starting to feel a lot better. Not 100%, but much better.
Pull towards, they were ready to play height if it pulled towards their zone, but it went to the complete opposite zone.
There you go.
They decided to try and play low ground, and as you can see, it didn't quite go their way. Swizzy ended up getting knocked. Mustache got knocked shortly after, and then Queasy playing as a solo can only make it so far, so weren't able to really get the zone pulls they were looking for, but overall, they had a pretty good match, and, you know, they're going to stay in 13th place right now, but they're still going to need a big one to take it home, Levin.
Yeah, towards the end of that game when they were on low ground there, it sort of felt like...
The better the good, lower the average, yeah.
Watch like an alien try like acclimatize to human culture. It's like, you know, like they're on low ground, like, what? Low ground?
What are they doing?
What do I do here? Like, you know, we're used to seeing them up on height is the point I'm trying to make here.
I think so, J-Bob, but I don't.
I definitely wasn't expecting to see them in that type of position. But to be fair, Mustache and Swizzy have so much experience, you know, winning on mid and low ground layers. So
worried about Queasy? Not really.
There again, I wouldn't be too surprised.
Maybe after one more game, I'll be like, ooh. But like, Queasy's got some of the highest win potential of any team in this lobby, so.
As well as our 5 victory royale winners going through to the finals next weekend. And
even the tier 1, that name? Oh, Stripe,
they're in a really good position to qualify right now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of these guys. They were one of my like biggest sort of sleeper teams last major, because every time I watched them, you know, shining, they looked really good. And this season again,
oh, Flixie got in. Oh, that was a misplay by Flixie. I thought Flixie got triple pumped outside the wall. Flixie getting in. Yeah. Not sure what. That was a bit of a brain explosion with Flixie there.
And they're very cohesive. We're very much on the same page. you see that.
I thought he took the wall and they happened to just react and triple pump him.
Usually they're all sort of in the same box, you know, hip to hip, which definitely works in their favor.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, there you go, Shales. Interesting.
They remind me a little bit of how Camiseti Chari have been playing throughout the day. So, I mean, these are some of the trios that they just kind of have to keep getting to the end games, but that's what they excel at. So if they can keep doing that,
seems like they didn't want to win. It did seem like they dropped down and started playing very aggressive very early. Are you
predicting a victory royale for Camiseti and Chari based on how they played the first 2 games?
To be honest, I'd expect more victory royale from a trio like Queasy, especially just, you know, based on previous play style. I think Camiseti Chari is more a trio that will qualify through consistency.
So slick?
They can win a match.
Throwing for more practice is just absurd levels of confidence in this group.
But
you know what I mean?
If not, I think they'll make it through consistency.
Like, that's crazy confidence.
Because they're obviously trying to guarantee getting to the end game every time. This is the way that we expect them to play, but they're up against so many thirsty trios, Levin, that I worry about them getting blocked out from next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a possibility with this format. I think I would feel more confident about them getting a win maybe than Takata does. Just because,
they did the same? Okay.
You know, even in the games we've seen them, they have tried to
really big difference between this group and an OCE group, man.
Right? And so the more and more teams, I think, win games, the more and more, you know, I feel
even within the format, bro, more players make it through each group of OCEs. It's only 2, not 3.
About Taco's name. Yes, I got it right. So let's head over to Miniminer and Taco.
Thanks so much. But hey, we're hoping to see some of the stars align for some of these teams.
But Ollie's just, and Ollie's the GOAT, obviously, as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's always that factor as well. Like,
not only that, but third time's a charm. You never know. And as looking at Veno, Vico, and Flixie, the fact that they haven't actually found their victory royale just might come as a surprise to a lot of people, but they're gonna have to just fight their way through it. It's something they've been doing all day long, and I don't think they plan on slowing down here in Game 3.
Thank you, Abdu, with the Prime 14.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a team that will just keep
Game 3, baby.
on, whether they win or not.
Halfway.
Continuing. I mean, it just
speaks
about how much we rate them and how good they really are that we're talking about this in game number 3. They haven't won yet. Oh no, what's going to happen? So I think we'll be talking about them being in the Major 2 finals at some point today. No doubt, but game number 3 here, this is a big moment for a lot of our teams, for a lot of our off-spawn battles as well. This can really be where things can start to turn, particularly since we saw Andalex, Monzy, and Skyjump having a really solid off-spawn fight last game. Let's see if they can replicate that again. It seems like it's a little bit more fair this time, though. We haven't got an immediate elimination, an immediate knock. As teams just playing each side of the drop spot so far.
Nathan win now? Nathan's, I feel like Nathan's team's really good on consistency, but not as much wins. We'll see.
Can't say the same, though, for what's taking place here at Foxy Floodgate. Tex,
the Italians.
And Bendy
damn.
Will be able to clean things up
if
nicely.
Pradaj doesn't qual today, he's definitely a favorite for me to make it through last chance.
Here, Bendy with a little bit of a
if Pradaj gets this unconned in last chance, I pick him for a win for sure.
With some of these 50-50 off-spawn fights, you can't really afford to miss out on more than one match at a time, especially not if you want to stay in contention, Vinny, for that 6th through 10th place on the leaderboard. Team's still looking to try and just build as many points as possible, so they can establish themselves firmly in that position, leading through the halfway point of today's games.
Always good for Blaha. Nice little freebies.
This is something that I didn't really associate with them at their drop spot, going towards the north side, taking a couple of eliminations potentially earlier on. So that's only going to help them in their search for that top 5 in consistency. For this fight, though, this is something that we have seen go in Iwick and Hansen's way.
Shark did call last grands, yeah, with Ziendi and Aju. They didn't do the best in grands, though, unfortunately.
Which is not ideal for that team. Bevies and Axforce, we saw them having a really good game 1.
Bevies, you have to win this. You have to win this. Yes.
Does go down to 50 HP. Lovely shots, though, onto Iwick to turn the tides on that one. And now you say that this is a duo that look like maybe on top right here as Axel's just still applying that pressure. Unzen trying to get his way around. Hits a great shot.
Let's go, baby.
No chance of being enough, really, when you just as a solo.
Oh, we're getting third party, though. Well, they won this one fight. That's all I care about.
Through and the wounded team of Axforce.
As long as manually breathe dies, I'm happy.
This could be dangerous for them.
And we've seen how these third-party circumstances can actually end up being hiccups themselves. Voltiac's going to lose practically all of his shield outright here.
Cool. Oh, nice stand. Nice stand.
Axforce, great return shots. But Axforce, he'll still be able to scurry backwards. Siren just trying to see if he can finalize the pickoff, and sure enough, Axe Force will fall. It's solely Bevies who might be left standing here. No, not even the case. Siren, Cool, and Voltx have successfully.
Oh, here we go. Oh, Malabuka. Oh, this could be the win, bro. Lone Wolf and Train Loot combined in the hands of Malabuka. This could be the win. This could be the win. 3 Elims of Surge, Train Loot, and Lone Wolf is just insane. Well, this is definitely my favorite to win this game.
But it's interesting that a team would try a crazy switch-up strategy of Valo. Unfortunately, going to just have to fall back.
Yeah, you'd expect Malabuka to more be landing on that sort of Lone Wolf lair. I guess this is what I was talking about earlier. They're sort of trying a few different strategies off spawn, where they're landing, how they're rotating, where are they going to, and it seems like this game they want to try and go for that mythic pump, of course, claiming that train. You get that every single game, and it spawns in the same place every single game as well, so they know that, and they're able to find that mythic pump as well as a slew of other loot that is in that area. For the Mars Meadows team, Chino, Pablo, Wingo, and Fredoxy, it's been all right for them so far. They've been okay. It hasn't been an amazing day, but they've been keeping in contention.
They've been okay. That's a good way to describe it so far.
I think Mars Meadows with that black market does have the potential in terms of loot for a team to get a win from Taco. I think it's got enough there for them. We just haven't seen that prowess yet in the end game. They've just had a couple of decent games.
Yeah, Fred solo clutching last game held them in it a lot.
You know, there's multiple ways of qualifying. We talk so much about victory royales, who's going to win. But if you can just slowly,
Savage plays tomorrow, Jeremy. Savage Heat 3.
Like, Combat, Blatcher, and Mixon potentially in a similar way.
Saving the best for last.
You'll be just fine. You'll be seeing yourself in the Major 2 finals. So it's interesting to see the difference in playstyles.
At the same time, though, you have to remember some of these teams, they're looking to make more of a statement. And especially in a group that's considered so high-tiered as this one, if you can confirm a victory royale in these kinds of matchups, it could be a huge confidence booster heading into the Major 2 finals itself. But that's going to be something that's just on the back of the minds here for Cool, Siren, and Voltx. They're now dealing with yet another team at the Kappa Kappa factory. They've been consistently moving their way through Kappa Kappa, happy to collect their third party for early surge damage. Granted, it's not necessarily an easy position to actually push off.
Ooh, here we go. The big staircase.
Teams to then hold you at bay, hold you on that fringe position.
Wait, did Mally just go down?
And something that
wait, Mally down? How?
Also
wait, what?
Excellently is
bro.
Try and essentially pick off
the XJ with the prime.
Over by the Shining Span, you can see these shots just taking place, being fired back and forth here between the bridge and Seaport City.
Oh my god. Bro, every time I see shit like this, it has me just terrified for the Pro-Am, bro. I'm gonna get milked. Like, absolutely milked.
Definitely trying to keep tabs.
We got Red Eyes and Mammoths, man. I'm gonna be getting farmed.
Sending shots his way. It's Fredoxy on the other end.
Pro's like surge aim is just so absurdly good.
More than happy doing that, just keeping up that storm surge damage and ensuring that they can sort of stay in that area with not too much trouble.
Is Bloom Weapons Mose? Is he okay? Bro, it's literally Red Eyes and Mammoths. What do you mean Bloom Weapons?
Just sort of boxing up right above the, I think it's that sort of black market area in Magic Mosses. No, it's more to the north, actually. So the team Sangil, Tidy, and Julie, who have actually taken control of that Magic Mosses.
That's 2 of like 50. Homie, what are you saying, bro? What?
Well, how they go about this fight is going to be interesting because they now down to a duo. Kami, Chari, and Seti. Levin mentioned it on the desk. They did try and go for height last game.
You know, you can like, you don't have to pick up the first gun you find, right? Like, you can grab the one you want to grab.
So,
like, I don't
see what they're trying to do.
I don't know if I have to explain this, but like, you don't have to carry the other AR. You just carry the Red Eye.
See that they're consistent
Rarer, bro.
As well.
Okay, Obi hasn't played Reload.
In terms of their in-game performances and their divisional cup placements, top
trust me, dude. Almost every good team is going to have a Red Eye and a Mammoth, man.
Finals. I mean, even
they're not rare.
They've been playing a lot of NA cups as well. The NA Central Divisional Cup finals. They've made every single finals in that region as well. So no matter what ping, no matter
Hammer
what
AR is really good. Just not like at range with like crazy consistent shots. But yeah, Hammer's nice. Got to be the most underrated AR in the history of Fortnite, I swear. It's just always in the game with other OP ARs that just make it look crap, but it's so good.
That difficult situation off spawn, and now it's up to them.
What's up, Breadsticks? I'm starting to feel better, man.
This is just Della out in no man's land, though. And even in the last lobby, we saw how many teams were getting kind of caught up in that fighting zone territory. Cool, Voltiac, Siren. still trying to fight things out here. Kappa. Finally, Siren gonna open the door here. Abdul will fall, but cool. Just underneath the underbelly of these builds.
The underbelly of the builds.
Team Boo Boo and
I like that.
YZY. It almost appears as if they want to continue this fight despite being down a teammate. But it's more so just the escape factor that they had in mind. This route's going to get cut off, though, by Cool. Still, don't want to consider anything as a total freebie. YZY going to at least force Cool to come to a slight bit of a pause here. Hopeful Heights just...
What's up, a bird? Getting there, man.
Stuck. That's what it seems like for both of these teams.
Oh.
There needs to be a conclusion now rather than later.
Damn.
And Siren.
Box like a fish, bro.
He's gonna actually find himself as the target. Thankfully, he does have two other teammates to back him up, so that will be a confirmed elimination. YZY, though, the fact is he's also just lurking. Things are a little bit more messy though than what Cool and Voltage.
That was a great shot.
Initially.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought that you Esotonio the prime
away now, so YZY is opting to sit here. It's not actually a bad play at all. I think they would have just thought, yeah, he's run away. That's not a problem at all. But for YZY, he's going to be able to potentially pick up a reboot with that reboot van right next door. So nice plays from him. This is something we saw earlier. Glubshy actually trying to lurk in this sort of area. Unfortunately for Sangild, he's lost both of his teammates. As I was saying, this is what Glubshy and Frax and Grippe do very well. It's just that sort of lurking around these areas. So many trees as well.
I wonder what happened to Malabuka, though, bro. How did Malabuka die with Train and Lone Wolf Loot?
For Storm Surge damage, and it's a very experienced team as well. Grippe was in the last grand finals as well, Major 1 finals, placed 13th. Not a bad performance from him whatsoever. But for Sangild and company, without the company so far, things are looking okay. Because he's not getting aggressed at the moment.
There is just
whole team, no, just Mally.
And then nothing at the same time.
Probably just go, oh my lordy.
All these teams in the surrounding area risk going to be...
Damn.
That is, what, 24 splashes that we're looking at right now?
We haven't even checked the teammate either.
One trio. So we know who's already made it inside of the backwoods black market. And yet, it doesn't seem as though Styx and Brisk are actually going to be able to move out of this position anytime soon here at Magic Mosses. But I'm also just thinking about a team like
36.
and Hari.
They have 36 splashes.
Definitely just keep notice of everything that's taking place. All those teams, all the shots being fired, they're bound to be
36 splashes is disgusting.
And they're in a prime position to just...
Is that because Malabuka's team didn't get there first because they went for the train?
Closer to them. But also, teams are probably going to...
Because that is disgusting.
That Camiseti Hari, they love basing up on top of that mountain surrounding the base tunnel and brutal boxcars. It's just the fact
That's a pretty surge base.
Is this really a safe path
to
move through? Or am I going to be cut off sooner than what I'd expected?
And it's teams that are in these sort of surge bases like CZB, Nathan, and Eclipse that will just cut people off when they are making those rotations. You can see them very split here as well. This does seem to be the way that teams are going about their Storm Surge.
One of them's gone on. Oh, it's Malabuka. We're back up. We're back up.
Hasn't been necessarily the best day for these guys so far, so they're going to need to find a little bit more success. And likewise, ready for Ping, Malabuka, and Wox still in the lobby. A team that we know how good they can be. We know how good they are when it comes to these sort of lobbies. These are the lobbies that they thrive in.
They're phenomenal with the T on 44.
They're really trying their best here to change the way that they're playing way deep inside of the Storm. Of course, a much different sort of early game to what we've seen from this team in the past. Just using those launch pads to try and make their way around as much as possible. I think they did take advantage of that early fight, didn't they, at the train? So they have that flexibility now to play this more sort of slow and consistent style of gameplay at this beginning stage of the game.
It's just evident that the black markets and vaults have really made it possible for everybody to do their best Veno impression. It is really what it's seeming like. I mean, you've got
NA worth watching, say? I mean, it should be, bro. NA groups are never going to be as crazy as EU groups. Like, there's a lot less good teams on NA. But you got like Clicks and stuff playing. You got Clicks playing, Muzz is playing, Bucky's playing. It's going to be a fun group, man.
Exact same thing here, Mini. Can definitely cause some problems Dead side starts to look a whole lot less. So,
oh, what is going on here?
Well,
Another fight at Hopeful. Jeez.
Bevies, you would think that they would be out of the thick of it by now. Instead, caught with YZY's team at Hopeful Heights. Both sides desperately needing a little bit of surge damage, though. They want to keep things moving here in this third lobby. And YZY, Abdul, Ubu, they've yet to find their opening shot.
Ubu.
Almost bleeding themselves out slowly, considering that they need to strike. They've got to make these cleanups be quick.
If there's the 2-for-6.
It's anything.
Chat, the thick of it was a very normal expression before. KSI ruined it, okay?
Bevies do need these.
It was a very, very normal saying.
Do a couple of reboots.
Hence why he made his song.
That early damage that they got from that off-spawn fight. Bevies connects with a beautiful shot there into Abdul again.
Not everyone is completely brain rotted, all right? I heard the term thick of it and didn't think of KSI at all.
And it's now just up to Della and Bevies as Axforce does fall. YZY is the target. It's a 2v1 situation, but not all players have that much HP. It's only Della with the shield, but the white HP is dwindling, so it's an even playing field in terms of health. It's whether YZY can connect with one of these shots as Della hops on in, but no.
I would love to do. They should do like a brain study on that, bro. Like hook people up to like a machine that like measures your brain activity, and then just play people talking in conversation and just kind of slip in brain rot terms and see whose brain starts firing. Measure of how brain rotted someone is. Yeah, we're seeing a massive decrease in imports out of China. I'm just fucking
peekaboo, and he's back to the lobby.
Low table phone.
Just knowing that there's still such an uphill battle
to
deal with.
It's like sleeper soldiers, bro. I swear, like brain rot terms just fucking activate some of you kids. Like you just can't. You just can't like control the urge to not just fucking say dumb shit when you hear a certain word. Like it's almost like involuntary. It's like almost like Tourette's, but only on certain words.
It looks like they might be circling their way through Magic Mosses.
Hey, cryptic with the Piper died.
Massive. They're fully aware of the fact that they've got a team kind of trailing.
Like it's like I swear it's like not healthy to just not be able to fight that urge.
That might just be the play though for Jewel. Gonna try and open things up instead. Eats way too much damage in the process. At least this campfire is gonna buy him a little bit more white HP than what he needs. Tidy, on the other hand, hoping to see if he can find a separate angle, but there is no opportunities here for Tidy and Sangil just yet. They know they've got to keep things moving forward. They can't afford to get caught in the storm for this long.
Adding the 2-for-7?
Being aware of the fact that there's teams that have already gotten ahead of them. They're already based inside.
Campfire's storm got fixed ages ago, Chat.
Yeah, the zone does play in their favor though, so
at least was it this season or last season?
Too long of a rotation. Kaito, Haijo, and Turtle making the most of that.
Oh my god, Mercy, not healthy.
Some sort of position for them to be in just on the edge here. They are above though, so they're looking pretty good in that department.
Here we go. Let's see how Veno's looking. Come on.
Vico, Flixi,
we're still suspicious of whether this team sold their last game deliberately to start griefing Fred. We'll see.
In that last game, and they've got their sights set on even more. They haven't got any so far, and you can see
152 below. Wait a second.
Storm surge damage, at least not enough to be over the threshold. So this is going to be one of those chop situations.
What is happening here? What is this? What the? Why are they skybasing? What is going on?
Drop down. They know what's coming. And for Vico, Veno, Flixi, this is where they need to do as much damage as possible.
You stand with the Prime for 3.
The day, this fight, the way that they fight is so important. You see Veno just applying as much pressure as possible, nice and up close. Vico, Flixi looking at other angles, but no, it's not successfully, unfortunately, as Vico does fall. It's all now up to Veno and Flixi as Vico does get finished as well. So now it's turned into a very, very difficult situation for this trio, who now have a disadvantage in terms of players. There needs to be a big connection from one of these two.
Nice.
It's not going to be from Flixi, who does fall, but it's going to be Veno who connects.
If he pumped in there, bro, this would be such a cool clutch.
Hopefully now for him, he can turn the tides in his favor.
1v2 though. But he needed to hit that pump so bad.
To solo clutch here against a very
nice. Oh my god, he cancelled the res. Oh my god, Veno's the GOAT. Oh my god, Veno's actually the truth. Oh my god, Veno's the truth. What the fuck? How is this the IGL? In what world is this the... Oh no, Faded also has a chug though. Oh.
Trying to heal up as well. He's got so much piece control, Veno. It's not going to be enough to
He got the finish though, got the finish. That's Siphon. Nice.
As well, so huge turn for Veno. He just
no, Bendy just got the full chug off though.
But no, the other team are able to heal up Taco. Things were looking so good for him that.
But the time is already
They're gonna run. They're actually running. Bro, Venom. Oh, we're running to Queasy though. Oh my god, Big Bro's here. The X duo. Oh, never mind.
They've done so much damage towards how this match 3 will play out for Vico and Flixie, and now
that's how Vico went down. That sucks.
Granted, rather injured themselves, but it's just the fact that they're at least a pairing. They're not left in that solo kind of clutch situation. Veno might be able to make something happen as far as additional placement points are concerned, but right now they're probably just happy to know that they are
not an ideal spot for Veno.
Solidified in that top end of the consistency side for the leaderboard.
Tell you what, there aren't many players in this lobby that would be able to, as a solo, force a duo to run and disengage from a fight like that. Veno doing absolutely everything he could.
Oh, that was crazy about Veno.
Nearly taking both of them out as well. So again, just highlights how good Veno really is in those box fight situations. Every single one of that trio, any of them in that situation, and I'm sure the team would still run away. And we can see that very team right now. Bendy and Faded, of course, now just down as a duo. Just shows how important it is just to keep applying that pressure when you're in that solo clutch situation as Veno was doing. He wasn't boxing up and backing down. He was connecting with shots, being on the front foot, getting aggressive, using the piece control that he had. It's worked out in his favor so far if he's still in the game.
Oh, Malabuka, here we go. Do they have their surge?
Malabuka ping and
they do. Oh, wait.
Unstoppable medallion just left behind.
Why is Malabuka not pushing this?
Minimap, but
I guess they're just letting them push them.
Tidy.
They have to.
Right now, they're just focused on trying to keep their heads above water, essentially. Lone Wolf Lair, just way too much traffic than what they had initially bargained for, and they're going to dive right in. Malabuka
oh my god. Oh my god, no!
Directly behind him.
No.
Hopefully, they'll be able to go for the double revive.
All right, no, we got him. It's fine, we're fine. We're okay. Don't panic.
The only member left
we're not looking very healthy, though.
Ping's gonna actually focus in on just making sure that he brings Malabuka back into the fight. They know that they've got to keep things moving here, but they still want to make sure that they collect on everything that they've gone through the efforts of in the first place. Jewel, finalize, the body loot brought into action, and Ping walks Malabuka. Got a moment to breathe. In comparison to where the rest of the lobby stands, though, they definitely got to keep their wits about them.
Nicely done from that team. They're on that low ground, so they weren't getting focused from everyone else, who is getting focused in the moment, though. It's Comeback, Mixon, and Blaho, and in a difficult situation. Not only are they getting looked at by so many people, but the storm is closing in behind them as well. These splashes are going to have to come into play. And this is going to be a really, really important rotation for this team, who are really high up in the standings. I believe they're our first place consistency team going into this
642 game. Above. Good spot.
So many materials to make
what do their meds look like, though? No shields.
Even though the materials might not suggest that, you can see why they got in this situation.
Oh,
as well.
This is where all their meds went. This is where all their shield went.
You see them taking out a good number of players, and you can see at that very moment the storm starts closing in. So it's so difficult for them to then.
It's Queasy. Queasy's on the dead side. Queasy's hit a beautiful dead side rotate. This could be the win, Chad. This could be the win.
It's really that
I'm feeling a Queasy win here.
Collection of materials, all those siphon mats that'll definitely play a pretty
oh, they've got these Exotic Chug. Ah, they're chilling.
In terms of their success throughout the course of this end game, but Cammy, Seti, Hari, they're in a whole world of trouble here. Seti.
What? They were all 1 HP. Wait, what? I looked at the speed. I thought they were dead. Looking at the health bars. 2 of them were literally 1 HP.
Flank opportunity that just.
Look at Dylan drop it. Oh my god, they're on high ground. Let's go. This is the Queasy classic, bro. This is like that flawless Div 1 final we watched. This is exactly what Queasy was looking like, bro. Dead side rotates, early height takes. Feeling good. Feeling good.
Probably going to dictate the outcome of this game here.
Yeah, crucial thing about this game is they boxed up in that last game and they didn't get 8th zone. This time 8th zone's pulled in their favor. They've actually taken advantage of that now. They've been able to box out all the way up on high, claim that position, which they weren't able to do in that last game. So this game's looking so much more promising for them in terms of that early positioning in this end game. And this could be their final chance to, or their chance to finally get that.
Take height, don't die.
Ping,
there are still some healthy teams in here who could play upset, though. Ping's only got 35 builds, though.
In a nice position just on that sort of second height layer, just below Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache, as the rest of the lobby.
Queasy definitely the favorite to win this game right now.
They're trying to build up as well, so Queasy might have another problem on his hands.
Oh, never mind, but CZB, Nathan played aggressive. Oh, this could be bad. No, we're getting chopped. Jump. Did he sprint jump? Oh, Mustache, too quick with it.
This team had the experience. They saw that coming. I think they're going to be able to hold on to height here, Taco, but
yeah, well, everyone's griefing. What the hell? Queasy's getting full grief this game. What the hell? Oh my god, we're getting absolutely griefed.
To keep going, but Seti and Hari, they were actually the ones taking note of that high ground. They were the ones actually trying to chop them out. Malibuka ping and walks from secondary height position. They've been holding things down.
They still got it though. Queasy still got it.
Swizzy, Queasy, Mustache, they're the ones
Proxy goes down.
Currently, they're trying to control the flow of this lobby. Malibuka now trying to see if he can tarp up towards the high ground, but ping gonna cost a huge chunk of his shield in the process of moving upwards, trying to follow behind his teammate Malibuka. They'll be forced to come to a little bit of a pause here. Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache.
What's the match looking like for Queasy? I can't see. Cammy said Hari looking pretty healthy on low ground though. They just need a mat refresh.
Refusing to budge or allow anybody to threaten their position.
Nobody can take over that high ground control right now. The rest of the lobby's just too focused on getting over this massive hill.
Yeah, this hill was really good for Queasy. You can hear the pressure from Queasy. They are spraying. Lodex would be so proud. Pre-edits.
Loki does fall there in the beginning of this fight, and this is what this trio needed. They needed that refresh. They needed those materials to continue their low ground dominance. We have one of the iconic high ground trios in Queasy, Mustache, and Swizzy, and now one of the most famous low ground trios in Seti, Cammy, and Chari. Who's going to come out on top here?
Ping, Malibuka walks. They've just been so innocuous so far. Nobody has really paid
innocuous. They've been innocuous.
These teams trying to actually break through on that front side.
Wait, there's three really good teams still up though. This might not be the free win for Queasy. We'll see. If Queasy's team didn't get griefed so hard at the start of this, I'd feel a lot more confident. But they did burn through a lot of their resources on those high takes. Oh, they are just spraying though. Good God, they're putting out so much pressure. Oh, wait, this is perfect for Queasy. Blaha versus Malibuka is big.
But Blaha, he can't take it just yet. Avalo and Kovac's gonna slow him down.
They took him over there inside of that front side of zone.
Oh, is someone going for it? Glubshy's going for it. That could be the refresh that Malibuka, I mean, sorry, Queasy needs though. Yep, they took him down quick. That's good for Queasy.
Down as a duo, of course, Wox goes down and they're fully out. It's over for them in this game, but a solid game over.
Mustache got to get back up though.
Queasy and Swizzy all the way up on height. Mustache finding eliminations on low ground as well. The materials
gave me a heart attack, bro. I thought my stream PC was crashing.
Not quite going to be enough to continue their high ground reign. They just got to keep spraying on.
Oh, they're putting so much pressure down.
As they can, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. As it's all going crazy on low ground.
Look how weak everyone is, bro. It's a fucking bloodbath down there, bro. Oh my God, it's an absolute war zone.
Realistically, though,
they have put down so much pressure, it's absurd. They got to win this, surely.
Fighting to try and maintain some composure on the low ground, but it's not going to be enough.
There's so much going on. Queasy wins it. 3v1. 3v1, right? Yep, 3v1. Oh, 3v1v1. Nah. Let's go, baby. Someone asked, are you nervous for Queasy? I said no. Unless we threw this game, then I'd be a bit nervous, but they got the highest win potential of anyone, man. The team needs a win. You got to give it to Queasy. 6 elimination win. W Queasy's in grands, baby. Seaport is now open for business. W. All right, chat. We'll make the V-Buck giveaway height. You guys want to win some V-Bucks at the word height in chat? Take height, don't die. Take height, don't die.
They had materials when they didn't. Mustache dropped down, picked up materials, picked up the refreshes, and so many times.
Well played. And they even got super aggressively pushed a few times. I would love, like, I don't know whether kids could run like a stats on this, because I don't know how many shots you normally shoot from high ground, but I want to see how many shots Queasy, Swizzy, Mustache just shot from high ground, bro. All you could hear was just constant pressure. I've never heard such constant pressure from high ground. Just AR shots ringing out for the entire end game. Think Amped, Oki, Normal, Bray, dropping Dylan, Echo, Bing, Senjit, thank you, Munson, Cryptic, Thompson, Biz, Phenomenal, Nectar, Vinny, Spyro, Acetonio, Sully, Ender, XJ, THJ, Keza, Specco. Thanks, guys.
So much to say. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the subs, chat, and the follows. I love you all. And the subs on YouTube. Thank you.
It was inevitable, really, that Queasy's trio was going to take a victory royale. The question was just when to Carter. The conditions were perfect, and they took it by storm.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time. You said it yourself, Frankie. Game 1, doesn't matter. Game 2, they played for that high ground in 7th zone.
All right, 10 more seconds, chat, then we'll call the
unfortunately, it went to the complete opposite side, but this game, they said, you know what? We're not even going to try and predict it. 8th zone came through. They walked themselves right into that zone, built up. Not a single trio contested them, and then at that point, they had high ground. They played it by the book. They were able to overcome.
They survived. That chop was nice. Could have been bad.
And ultimately, 11, they just did what they know the best for.
I will call it there. Thank you, guys.
Earlier you asked, like, you know, a team's gonna, still play for height in 8th zone, and I should have just said, yeah, if you're queasy, you can.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
This is what they show they can do. And you mentioned some of the different teams trying to take height from them, right? There was the temp, there was a temp zone height take as well that came through from Glubshy's trio. And, we have the lovely little drone shot that we watch here on our broadcast, so we can see it all clearly. And I was commenting, I was like, yep, look, Glubshy team's right there. They got to be careful. Those guys look stacked. And they would have been more aware of it than I ever was. And I have a drone view to see it, right? So, they handled that really well. When those guys start to build up, they wiped them out the lobby.
Hey, Ralphie,
and
super dangerous, thanks, guys.
Just made it look so easy, as they always seem to do from height.
When you are the high ground king, Queasy, you always know who is below you and what's right in front of you. And in this case, it was the Victory Royale. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking more about Game 3.
Yeah, comeback with the triple thirds. Bro, people were hating on putting my comeback on top 5, bro. I was getting hated on for this top 5. And so far, I'm doing pretty well. The team, all my top 5 looking pretty solid. Comebacks nuts, man. They're super underrated. Is this hardest heat by far? Yeah. Only 2 groups on OC? Yeah, only 2 groups on all the small regions, bro. So EU and NA, the only regions that have 3 groups. Cammy might take this game. Cammy's definitely one that we're looking at for consistency more than a win, but we'll see. Yeah, Shifu. We've rolled them out in the near future, man. More easy group? None of the groups on EU are easy. It's just the group 2 is super hard. NA West counts as a minor region? Oh, yeah. NA West is tiny, bro. Don't know, Snake. It's because I was putting teams like I think I was putting like Combeck over uncontested Fred and Master and stuff that had people a bit confused. Thank you, James, the prime for 30. Thank you, bro. TG playing today? I think today is TG's group, right? I haven't been following West much, but I think it might be TG's group. Bro, if TG goes to the Pro-Am as a Grands qualifier, bro, it's going to be insane. Uga's very happy right now. Qual so low right now? Yeah, the better the group, the lower the amount it is to qual off consistency. You watching West today? No. Not watching West till Grands. Why lower groups better? Because there's just more people taking points and it's like they're fighting for them more rather than like a few teams just running away with it.
This this is a public service announcement. We did mention this at the top of the
public
show.
service announcement.
We would like Cole to respond to Courage, and we'd also like you guys to get your tickets to the Gallon Centre, because on May 10th,
Chat, if you guys want to buy tickets, my code actually gets you 10% off.
Pros in game rocking the original Axe of
Yeah,
Champions.
you can get the Axe of Champions by going.
Vino, Queasy, they're all going to be there playing with some of the best creators in the world.
There you go, chat. If you use that link, you get 10% off as well.
Of May. And if you get your tickets, you will also get to rock that Axe of Champions. Yeah,
imagine having the Axe of Champions. That'd be so cool.
Your face light up.
I always dreamed of having the original Axe of Champions, and now I will, but not for the right reasons.
No, it's very much a right reason. Now let's talk about
Levin's vibes are great today, man.
In game 3, because there was so
Yo,
much
Braze, thanks for 10 gifted, bro. I swear that's just the Braze Classic right now, bro. Just dropping 10s out of nowhere. Thanks for 10 gifted, Braze. So you can drag him with the Prime.
They have to be in a really great position after that, and they are currently.
All right, what do we got, chat? What do we got? So we have our 3 wins. We got Chap, Teeny, and Skivvy winning out of Crime City, Sweezy, Quizzy, Mustache winning out of Seaport, and Robin, Sheen, and Trex are winning out of Hopeful. In our top 5 who haven't got a win yet, we've got Combeck, Seti, Vico, Sanguild, and Ping. Ooh. So currently my top 5 all doing good. Very nice.
But Ping has it in his locker as well, and he decided to grace us with it here in game 3, Takata.
Yeah, I believe it was Tidy and his trio that tried going aggro against them, leading up to
dust him with the Prime?
and then Ping Walks were like,
yeah, Blaha's team on third is crazy.
Right back, picked up all 3 eliminations, and as you see, as this late game continued on, they just kept fragging out. They ended with like a total of 11 eliminations, but like you were alluding to, Frankie, why aren't they that much higher? I mean, the previous match, they ended up going down in 19th, so they did get this big pop-off match, but previously, they're kind of missing out on that consistency. But, you know, there's kind of that fire they needed to continue pushing on forwards.
Well, Combeck, Blacker, and Mixon, I think they've been really consistent if you want to talk about consistent trios who also are fragging, because Levin, they were also a team that was really challenging those lower layers in that game.
Yeah, no, I think they've clocked the lobby. Right? They just seem to be there every single game.
Nah, you're good knocking these 2 over 24, bro. These are 2 years, dude.
Get to end games consistently. And
you make a vlog for Pro-Am? I am going to make a vlog for Pro-Am. Yeah, man.
About them. In these end games, they are just so great at just being on the same time. Look at them, they're all stood on the same cone nearabouts, right? Like, they are always glued together. And when you are, you know, this is just basic Fortnite fundamentals. Like, when you are so glued together in end games, it's gonna be hard for you to not be successful in these type of lobbies.
Yeah, I mean, they literally got 3rd place every single match today, Levin. Every single match they've got in 3rd place alongside a good amount of eliminations. I mean, they're playing just like Cammy and Seti, but getting more eliminations and better placement. And you can see that on the lead.
All right. So what do we got right now? So what is the consistency? 124 right now. Okay, so 124 is getting you into grands right now. That's pretty low. Considering it was 210 at the end last time with only 2 games left. That is quite low. Shows you how good this group is. So Combeck should be safe. Yeah, Combeck, Blaha, Mixon, 207 is chilling.
Further into the top 10, Levin.
Yeah, and this is another example.
Yeah, it's gonna be like around that 180 mark, I think. It's hard to predict exactly, but
right. I love this play here, right? To sort of go in on this team. You saw Charlie was just holding onto the wall, right, ready for his teammates to come through and replace it for him. I mean, the cohesion on this team is just almost next to none at times. Again, so close. How many times are they going to just be there, you know, just almost there, and it not quite go their way towards the end? They just ran out a bit of gas. And like Taco, I almost said Takata there. I'm almost like you, Frankie. Like Taco rightfully mentioned, you know.
Exactly, 2-1.
And, you know, maybe Cammy can just get it done, but, you know, there just wasn't enough left there.
Let's go way back in time now, it feels like, to the mid-game of game number 3, because Veno was sadly left on his lonesome, but you know what? He put on a show to Car. This 1v3 was everything.
Yes, he did. You can see Vico got absolutely...
You're trying to find someone to play Reload eval cut with? Nah, bro, it's way too late for me, man. So, for example, I woke up tonight at midnight, and I'm streaming for about 10 hours today. And then I'm going to a family thing for Easter that I'll get back at about 5 p.m. from, which gives me 7 hours until I've got to get up again at midnight for groups tomorrow. I'll stream for about 10 or 11 hours, and I'm going to end. I'm going to nap for hopefully an hour, and I'm going to come back and host my official $15,000 Reload tournament on OCE, where I'll be doing a watch party for it, and then the Reload Cup starts. So if I want to play OC Reload Cup, it starts 18 hours after I would have woken up.
Next Victory Royale, especially as Queasy's now out of the lobby.
Not really that conducive. So I mean, OC tournaments end 3 hours before I wake up at the moment.
I think the tough thing is like they're just having some of these mid games where like you know zone pool's a bit far and they do seem to struggle here. So you know hopefully the zones are favorable to them.
Well, we've got 2 more games of Group 2.
So the way I'm going to make up for that, though, hopefully, is I'm going to try and run some customs. I'm going to try and find a pro like Danath or someone I'm friends with to try and play with me. And I'm going to try and run some per-win customs through Vital Pro Coin on OCE. Get 38 other pros and try and practice against them. Because if I can survive in an endgame with 38 pros, then I should be chilling at Pro-Am, you know? That's my logic anyway.
Making the Major 2 finals.
How did you have like a 5-hour nap before OC Reload Cup? I don't understand how people can with a straight face say this shit. I just laid out my whole schedule. Kids like, no, just sleep for 5 hours, bro, and then come and do it. Like, are you fucking high? What? How in that schedule you're like, yeah, I think you should be chilling.
Crucial moments for
like I know it's playing and watching video games. I'm not gonna try and pretend I'm doing hard labor, but like, come the fuck on, man. Really?
I want answers to now is who's gonna land at Seaport City. I think it's more than likely to be Momsy and that trio, because of course they have been landing there. They have that experience. I think they might have even said.
Okay. So how do you guys just like fall asleep? How am I just supposed to fall asleep for 5 hours?
They were almost preparing for that, if that's what they've ended up doing. We'll get to have a little look at that in just a moment. And these are some of the fights that we saw earlier that are now starting to dwindle and fizzle out, because some of the teams that were contesting Taco, they've sort of moved. They've decided, okay, there's a bit more opening now, or a bit more of an opening. And
ooh, Pradaj has left. Where's Pradaj gone? Where's Pradaj gone?
And Bendy, we saw them in that big fight against Veno, Vico, and Flixie, which you'd have to say came out on top of. Hopefully brimming with confidence now, and having an uncontested drop spot to boot. Hopefully they'll be able to find a little bit more success in that later stage of the game.
They're not the only ones that are going to need confidence continuing through. Particle and Kire.
Oh, sorry, face cam. Sorry, chat.
Here with Hardfinds trio.
Yeah, also, I'm actually surprised. But Kanata and Ron stuff playing is great, but even if I was in NA, Pete wouldn't even play with me, Chad. He's going to want to play with Poyo to make money, so any of the OC pros I'd want to play with probably would rather just play with their actual duo to make money, you know?
Being turned upon. Still, this might go in favor of his trio, and it's only one surviving member currently, as Aspas will manage to put the double revive off onto Haruko, but this is a very difficult position now, because the last thing you want is to bank everything on that Game 5 performance.
Yeah, really, really difficult. This is interesting. Saw Bevies actually say that he was going to go to Seaport just now on socials, but they've decided to stick to what they know and what seems to be working for them as of right now. As Ewik is down.
Yeah, exactly, Shales.
Also just cracked at that.
Think there'll ever be a Globals where a Dark Horse team for a lesser known region wins? No.
Come on,
I know that sounds crazy. We've had some teams do well, but
the sniper shotgun in a way
depends, like
level of aim.
The only way it's ever going to happen is if we get consistent maps like last season, where there's no like one insanely good drop. As long as there's mythics and drops that have a big advantage, and teams like Pete or Veno are going to get them, then it's just too hard.
Even not just them, but from other teams that are
the small region teams are going in with much worse practice, a smaller pool of teammates to pick from, and worse drop spots. So it's just like, it's so hard to overcome at that point, man.
This is where this team will thrive. As Flixie tries to get up on top of that hill, we can see Veno from another angle as well. As Vico's still trying to find his way in this fight as well. For Flixie, just looking for more angles. And they're just playing so well with each other, but also at separate positions. And I can't see Vico, so I'm not too sure where he is. And maybe that's why Flixie and Veno aren't just jumping in here.
Yeah, if Savage doesn't make it, I mean, sorry, if Fred doesn't make it out of this group, man, it could be really big for Savage, or really bad if Veno tries to lock down.
They were forced into that fight where Veno had to hit that 1v3 clutch, and of course it didn't work out in the end. So maybe there's a little bit more proactivity here, Taco, in terms of getting Storm Surge damage. Hopefully for them it'll work in their favor.
I mean, for Veno, Vico, and Flixie, they don't really have anything to lose.
I am Dex. Should be fun, bro.
Comfortable with how many points they've been able to
I've got live spec client for it, bro. I've never used live spec client before. I'm going to feel real spoiled, all fancy. Epic finally gave me live spec, bro.
Royale that I think a lot of people are kind of anticipating to take place inevitably, but even if they don't get it, they are just sitting so lavish in comparison to a lot of these other teams, and Veek certainly wishing that they could find some kind of conclusion. But Veno and Flixie, they are just not letting up, just consistently peppering, consistently spraying. Vico, he's finally decided to join the mix and almost immediately catches an elimination for it. Make that 2 as
3 lives Vico. Let's go, baby. We go.
Vico, Veno, and Flixie. They certainly do not lack by any means in the fragging department, but
nah, we'll be streaming on delay.
Probably just having fun with it, it seems like.
I don't think people are going to be stream snapping much into reload tournament, bro, especially in squads. It's just going to be like too hard to take advantage.
Got all of the credit for those elims.
I'm expecting the mid game to be very passive in my reload cup, but the end games to be insane, bro. Squad reloads with shockwaves, man. Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be absolutely insane in the end games. Hoping it doesn't go to max heal off every game. We'll see.
Fighting a trio with the ability of Vico, Veno, and Flixie is never going to go well. So
is Jake with tier up for 10? Because I had the option to pick the format, and I would have gone with duos to use it as kind of like a pro-am like hype piece. But I was a little bit concerned being OCE that if I picked 20 captains,
top side of the map, which is a little bit of a change up of drop spot.
I needed to make it that I could pick 10 people that I trust, not to invite anyone who might have suspiciously good aim.
Seemingly everyone, Stormy Wright, Chicks, Malabuka.
You know what I mean?
Or sorry, Artist. As well.
When running a tournament on OCE, you kind of always got to keep that in mind.
Lots of people inside.
And I thought squads was a lot safer to be able to find 10 captains who would then only invite legit players. If I tried to pick 20 captains and make it duos, there's a chance that one of them would definitely try and invite someone who, you know,
are able to make the most of that damage when it comes to Storm Surge. They're going to be able to box up inside of those big bases that we saw.
I think squads will be fun. Nice change of pace.
And
hopefully the pros enjoy it.
I think for them it's just more of the same, really, Taco. I don't think they're necessarily looking to poise for a victory. I think it's just, you know, like the other polls in the lobby of Combat, Blaha, and Mixon. It's simply just keep doing what we're doing, make those end games, and they can call off this game if they have a solid end game.
No, I'm not playing Zip. I'm hosting. So, chat, you guys don't know I'm hosting a $15,000 reload tournament tomorrow. Squads. It's pretty late though. It's
consistently finding themselves
in 12 hours and 45 minutes tomorrow. So very late. It's on OCE time.
That's exactly where you want to be. If you don't confirm the Victory Royale, still being able to get that consistency placement off the leaderboard is always a nice touch. And it's also, consistency is definitely something that they're after when you consider how Major 1 panned out for them.
15, not 5-0, chat. 1-5. Prize pool was put up by Epic, though.
If they
I'll turn it into a video, though, in case you guys missed it. We'll be turning it into a YouTube video as well, so that'll be fun.
Definitely not the only
I'll be in live spec, like properly casting it, having some fun with it.
More of a scenic view, but Cranky just found himself in a very difficult position. He is entirely too split from the rest of his team, and Combat, Blaha, Mixon, they look hungry for an elimination. It's not going to take them much time at all. Poor Cranky.
Oh yeah, Merits. Oh yeah.
One step too far behind the rest of his trio.
Yeah, I'm not getting up for the. I might watch the Reload Eval Cup on Monday, chat, for NA, but I will not be watching it for EU. That's way too. I'm going to be sleeping.
Unmatched because they've pretty much already qualified. I think it was 207 points going into this last game. So, to be honest, for this trio, they don't have anything to lose whatsoever. I think it was just over 200 points last week. I think
210, we're chilling, baby. The polls are through.
Our teams into the
now, what are they going to do? Is there any play that makes sense here for Blaha, Combat, and Mixon to start getting another team griefed? Probably not.
It should be about the same.
I'm trying to think of what they might want to condition. Maybe like make sure the teams that are going to drop up. Yeah. Nah, I think they're just going to play it out. They're chilling. There's not really any targets on the map for them.
Mixon aren't too far behind, but this might as well be a victory lap here. It's Combat helping to confirm yet another elimination for this trio. Could be part of the reason, though, why we see them going on tour so early, too, though, because
who does Epic play with? He plays with Inact and Z-Link, bro.
Instead, they're going to have to find that surge elsewhere. Love the fact that they're being proactive with it, though.
They're being proactive is Stellar, Axe Force, and Bevies. Bevies early getting knocked.
Is that Thermite? It was Thermite. Like, what am I hearing?
Gets tagged, so he's going to have to heal up. After getting that
does Hydro sometimes like to go Shining Expands, do they? Ooh, we might be griefing Hydro then.
Here as well as Axforce and Della now have to pick up the pieces. And I think this is just something we've seen all day where Axforce, Della and Bevies, they have a successful off spawn. Maybe they fend off a third party or two and they end up in these sort of messy fights. The mid-game fights that just aren't going in their favor. It's what we saw a lot of
Where's Venom landing? Canyon? He's not. He's rotating there, man. He lands the mountain, then push Canyon. He's a tail of a 5, bro.
Into a consistent end game. There's always something that goes wrong in the mid game, and that's just sort of the story of the day for this trio. And big moments for them, of course, in this game, because they're just sort of outside that top 5 inconsistency. So if that's the way they need to go about qualifying, they need to make this game count. But for Abdul and YZY and Buzz, they're just looking to try and spoil their party up in the top end of the lead.
The mental toll, though, that's probably starting to unfold here for Bevies, Della, and Axe Force, because if it's not one thing, it's just another. Every single trio just seemingly swarming.
This thing is just sounds annoying. Like, it's just, I hate hearing people use it. It's smart.
Sadly,
it just applies so much pressure constantly.
To an end here. Buzz, Abdul, YZY, all just trying to encroach upon where Della is currently boxed up at. But Della, they'll look to delay for as long as possible.
Hey, Jacob, the tail for 11?
For some form of a third-party exchange to maybe bail him out of this position. Side jump nearly coming into his favor entirely. Della's still in control of a little bit of the high ground, but with Abdul now making the approach from a separate angle, it's just too much firepower. And Della just doesn't have the HP to work with here to actually convert this into something more promising. A full trio just playing it safe until they know for sure that they can confirm it. And Della, sure enough, wiped yet again from the lobby. The dashy dash just proving to be their demise.
The what?
Just unideal
the
situation.
Dashy dash?
Now they have to rethink. They're not going to be able to continue.
Did I mishear that? What the fuck?
That's a collection of placement points they've seemingly been getting all day. Might be a win potential for them in that last game, but for Abdel, Buzz, and YZY, they've got a whole new problem to deal with. It's the freedom. It's the guys that don't have too much on their mind right now in terms of problems. It's Mix and Blaha and Comeback, and all Comeback going down. They do take out Abdel.
Damn.
So now it's all up to Buzz and YZY. But of all the teams,
is that what they're on the map? Is that what they're called? They're the Dashy Dash?
Because of how good they are.
Dashy Dash is a landmark?
The amount of freedom they have right now.
Taco POI. I'm so excited for the bingo board.
Sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying themselves in this lobby, which is seemingly what they're doing.
Don't think there's anything much worse, though, than watching this tactical strike force land right on top of you. Blaha, Mixon, and Comeback. They were definitely the embodiment of just making sure that if you're going to be aggressive, be quick about it. Don't allow the opportunity for a third party to come into play. And
hey, rips with the prime for 23.
Managed to knock Comeback initially. See, it didn't necessarily
never get sore.
Bode super well for the rest of his team, and YZY chased out by Blaha. Mixing Comeback and Blaha just continuing to one by one collect as many eliminations as they feel like, but this definitely has to be putting a pretty heavy mark in terms of their surge damage.
Oh, 100%. It's a bit of a disastrous situation for Abdul, Buzz, and YZY, because they're a team
I don't know, Dex. Not really, man. Normally, I'm fine with headphones. Like I've been wearing these for months now. Never had an issue. I think it's just because I've been unwell.
Getting their Storm Surge done early in that fight against Axel, Stella, and Bevies, it was a perfect start for them, and they probably were thinking, right, this is great. We're going to be on the up here, and then who comes swooping on in? It's the team that you don't want to be fighting. But for Redoxy, Pablo, Wingu, and Chino, we've seen a little bit of them throughout the day. It hasn't been amazing, and likewise, they're a team that are just outside of that consistency threshold. So every move they make is
81 points,
so important. And I think this is a team that we should see in the Major 2 finals. You see them just in their 13th place. 81 points, which is not enough, but they're going to need a solid game here to move up in the standings. It's just a team with so much experience, Taco, that it would be strange for them not to be in the Major 2 finals, albeit since we had, of course, Fredoxy not make Major 1 finals. It wouldn't be that shocking, I suppose, but it would be a little bit of a surprise, I guess you could say.
Are you sure, Keg? It's over 37?
Definitely just trying to prove that he is a contender. CZB, Eclipse, and Nathan, they also find themselves on a similar note. They will manage to collect
nice. Come on, Nathan. I want to see Nathan make it. Come on.
Single point they can get. That
good
quick
beams.
flashing of the
Good
leaderboard,
beams.
showcasing that they are also just outside of that consistency threshold. And the last thing that they want is to have to rely on making their
started
way
in
to
2018.
the finals
Waxy?
off the last chance qualifier. Only 3 games to work
streaming
with
for about
in
6.5
that
years now, bro.
And knowing that it's all down exclusively to winning. It's just so emotionally jarring that a lot of teams want to try and avoid that at all costs. But
anyone milking? I'd say so far Fred not looking too hot, refs guard, for Uncon Mask.
Still, they have a lot of material to work with.
Fred's struggling a bit, sadly.
And a lot of our teams today also just professional
Malabuka as well, a little bit concerning for Malabuka right now.
Yeah, a lot of these mid-game fights have sort of taken place in the Storm, and it's obviously just down to a lot of heals in the game. Getting that early damage for teams.
Vico Venom Flixie had a chance to win a game, I'm pretty sure, Refscott, and they just dropped down and started playing super aggro. Like, almost made it look like they didn't want to win. It was kind of weird.
Some other teams that do have that on their loop path, they can just...
And then Flixie jumped in on a trio and went down, which kind of cost them, but like, they were playing super... It was weird.
Quite happy to sit inside the zone with all the loot that they have.
Pradaj Fire, yeah, Pradaj was being conned all day, but yeah.
But it was that early fight.
Teams that are conned, it's kind of hard to call it a milk, you know?
Set this team up for success for the rest of this game.
No, because why is it concerning? It's not super concerning. It's just they haven't, or like they're not guaranteed yet.
These guys should be making it to Major 2 finals. It would be a huge upset if they don't. And I don't see a way that they don't. But there's always, I suppose, anything could happen. Hey, Taco, they still need about 60 odd points, so still not.
Malvika's fine. I mean, he's literally the most consistent right now in qual. Like, I would say he's fine.
Multiple teams in the lobby, and that's something that Mix and Blind.
It's not like it's over anything, but
shut down some of these stragglers. Buzz looked like
you want to have no doubt in your mind the FNCS champions are qualified, basically. Oh, sorry, the LAN teams are qualified, in my mind.
Mixin, fortunately, only so far left to run when you're getting chased to the absolute outskirts. Jewel, Tidy, and Sangil.
Yeah, one good game here from Vico and Mally, and they across the line. They should be chilling.
And they're just kind of waiting, trying to maybe scope out if there's going to be teams that they can look to try and cut off. But Jewel knows Surge Base directly behind their current position. Want to try and poke some mod shots here and there. Maybe try to dissuade them from focusing you. I like this, though, from Tidy, just trying to build as many fish as possible, spend as much time as possible fishing.
Oh,
and
double shield fish? Okay, homie.
I think
surely not.
The
triple?
Definitely like
the
to
triple?
take advantage of early on from this split drop here at Brutal Box Cars, but knowing that there are other teams looking to play out the same game plan, gotta kind of approach with caution.
Jules did well at solos yesterday. Yeah, Jules is a good solo player.
Malabuka team that are
I'm not going to any dream hacks, Ness. I don't know what dream hack you're talking about, man, but I don't have any dream hacks that I'm going to. Yeah, PG. One sec, I'm grabbing my cereal.
A team that do have what it takes to win a game in this sort of lobby. We've already seen how treacherous the lobby has been to some of our top teams. Teams that you would have already expected to maybe get a win for now, or by now. And could this be their time? We've seen them switching up their strategies early on. We've seen them lurking. We've seen them having a couple of situations where maybe teams are third partying. They've had to really be reactive to what the rest of the lobby are doing so far today. And they've been doing that very well. But Vico, Veno, Flixie, they're continuing their push through this lobby. Going to pick up their 5th elimination of the game. There goes Vexy. And they're able to just play so deep inside of this Storm. Again, they don't need that Storm Surge damage. They set themselves up nicely previously. And then surely they're going to find Kaisers right now. And they are. It's a really nice elimination, a really nice clean up of that trio. So 6 so far. They're going to make their way in now, though. And they're just on a tear at the moment through this lobby. And it's just the speed at which that fight was able to be finished at, which is really important for that team.
Almost anticipating that Venom, Vico, and Flixie are going to fight yet again. Zara's team closing up behind them, but Vico, Venom, Flixie, it's just so concise the way that they actually tackle some of these fights. They do such an excellent job at just forcing trios to kind of look multiple directions at once, but you can only keep tabs on so much as a singular player. It's just the way that they manage to time and time again isolate individuals that is incredibly impressive. But they might have a whole different kind of problem because despite everything, they find themselves still rather deep inside of the Storm. Zangi, Rickboard, and Zada right behind them. And they're trying to definitely keep their heads ducked down low, throwing shots out where they can. But 1200 above, Minnie, there's no real reason for Vico, Veno, and Flixie to take on a fight at this point, they can just focus exclusively on getting their positioning established.
Yeah, the position is pretty good there as well.
Walks down? Oh, no.
You see the zone just pulling all the way back to where they are now.
Why are we worried, Chad? Isn't Malibuca already safe?
Pulls a little bit further. They should have a nice, simple rotation along this sort of dead side, but didn't quite work out in their favor before. I did see Wox. Yeah, Wox down in the feed. So Malibuca and Ping are left as a duo. Really difficult situation for this team. I mean, we could be in a situation here, Taco, going into the last game where if these guys fall, they need a win to qualify on through. So every single move that Malibuca and Ping make right now is going to be that much more important. Still need around sort of 80 points.
It's a decent loadout here.
In order to
duo clutch here is going to be a little bit tough.
And you can see that they're capable of doing it.
They have the highest average elims so far today.
The final game is the highest in EU per final. So it does seem like they just have what it takes, and we know it. They have what it takes in these sort of lobbies to find eliminations, find the damage that's required. So I wouldn't count them out yet, but looking a little bit bleak going into this end game, being only a duo here.
Part of the problem just seems to stem from the fact that the last couple of weeks of the Div 1 finals, they seemingly lost their identity as a trio. They've kind of been going through an array of, I don't want to say dysfunction, but it's definitely been much more disastrous than what you would hope for. And Chino, Ferdoxia, and Pablo, they might find themselves along a similar
No, Malibuca, no!
You've seen the highs, you've seen the lows with this trio.
No.
Form,
okay, now am I allowed to say you guys are worried? Like, I'm not even trying to talk shit at this point. This is what I was trying to talk about. Like, they were looking decent, but
he's just
not as comfortable as you want a LAN team to be with only 2 games left.
QB and Loki, not going to take a second to look back, though, so Malibuca will manage to restore at least a little bit of his shield, but Malibuca, he needs a refresh, and he needs it now. He needs mats more than anything. Doesn't have any builds to work with. The moment that he shows himself inside the zone and got picked off. Ping, though, going huge for this duo. Voltiax and Siren, that's going to be the lifeline extension that they needed, as Malibuca and Ping can now move a little bit more confidently into the next zone.
I mean, I'm not feeling too confident with this loadout. Oh my god, I'm not feeling confident at all.
Force now in this
Ping's him though. Good shit, Ping.
Material that they've been able to get. There's a team below them and a team above them, though. It's Glubshi, Grippe, and Frax that are just trying to knock on their door. The big problem for this team right now, albeit having a lot of materials, no shield. So they're struggling to, they're gonna struggle to try and find those knocks, those refreshes, those shields, because they don't have the shields initially to take those fights. Let's have another look at what Ping just did right here. Really nicely done, and this is exactly what you want out of your fraggers. You want people that are gonna be able to just hop inside of the box, hit those big damage shots, not whiff in these moments, which Ping didn't. He hit that first shot beautifully. Malibuca there to close on in as well, and that's what got them that huge refresh.
Bro, pop advantages is just like the worst feeling ever.
Experience, it's the ability to stay cool in these situations where things look to be going against you is what separates the good teams from the great teams.
Especially in this season, man.
Though, on Cammy, just consistently gazing up at the high ground, taking notice of who's actually trying to control it. But the moment that he looks back, Malibuca just continuing to remain a focal point for some of our healthier looking teams in the lobby. He will manage to reunite with Ping, but this might actually end up working against them. Cammy and Seti, while it looked like they wanted an opportunity there to get a little bit more aggressive, they don't actually know what kind of dire situation Malibuca is in. He's got to be very concise, though, with this Mythic Pump. He's essentially only got one shot to make it happen as far as a refresh is concerned.
CCB versus Pablo.
Weapons that you
can do that high ground, bro.
200 people with that Mythic Pump can do it. So one big shot can turn their entire season around.
He's Liam with the prime.
Ferdoxia and Chino. This is a team that we spoke about needing a solid game here, and they might get more than that as they're building up on hype. Claiming this position.
Cammy gets a refresh. Nice. Ping goes down, though.
Way above the Storm Surge threshold as well. So the position, the elevated position above the rest of the lobby is looking really strong for them right now. I just saw Ping there going down in
Malibuca solo.
Malibuca has to do, and this is what we spoke about. The problem
this is going to make Game 6 real sketchy, or Game 5, I should say.
And Malibuca only has 6 builds.
6 HP? 3 builds, 6 HP.
Choice either, a preference, you could say.
I've never seen Malibuca lose these. Oh my god, I've never seen Malibuca lose these.
Onto Sandgill, this is a perfect shot for him. Can he get that refresh? He gets the materials. It's a decent amount to keep him going in this game.
Nice.
Siphon's gonna retain
he's getting held like crazy. Up, they know he's weak.
Else is looking at him, and
it's Venom.
It's too little too late for Malibuca.
Well,
big last game for them.
Just nowhere left to run.
Wait, Vico solo too? Wait, we're really going to go into game 5 needing Vico and Malabuka, the only 2 teams on the land spot needing to clutch game 5. Are you kidding me? Oh, 180 should be good, actually. Never mind. I keep forgetting. I keep going off the 210 of last week. Never mind. 180 should be good. They just need to not have a 0-point game and they should be chilling. But Malabuka's got a bit of pressure on it for sure.
Shut down here, CZB. Not even going to get the opportunity to go for the revive. Instead, he's going to opt to play the Chug Jug. Just hoping that
dude, shows how hard this group is. My God. Oh, Fred's going to win, maybe.
Yeah, remember that's a team that are just outside of that sort of top 5 in placement, so really big moments.
No way Refsguard shows up to chat and is like, yo, Aussie, who's struggling? Knowing I'm going to say Fred, hit the reverse curse. Never mind. They just got fucking shit on the high ground. Never mind. Whoops. How do I curse cursing the curse? How the fuck is that possible? That is insane.
A team all the way up on high.
That's ridiculous. Well, unfortunate. I really thought I was cooking there for a second, but my bad.
So important for them in these moments, just continuing to apply pressure down, and they have materials to tackle, so this could be their time.
Antics, Mumsy, and Skyjump, though, they're hoping to kind of break their mark.
She's going down.
Antics going to get caught out. Doesn't get a chance to keep moving forward. Mumsy, though, with the return fire.
What is happening? Oh, it's the polls. Nothing to play for, actually. Malabuka, teams like Malabuka really want Blaha to win this. You really want Blaha to win this. A team who has everything to play for and a team that has nothing to play for right now. High versus low. Grippe needs this so bad and Mixer doesn't need it at all.
They have to find these conclusive shots and they need it now, but Grippe, Prax, Glubshy, they don't want to let this opportunity slip by.
Grippe's clutching it. Good shit, Grippe. Oh my God, let's go, Grippe. I like Grippe. He's a nice ass dude. Good shit, Grippe. 14 kill win for the Germans. Very nice.
With a game 4 victory royale.
Absolutely huge.
That is still Blaha for the prediction, though. Good stuff. All right, chat. We're making Group A for the V-Bug giveaway, but it's spelled Gripey. G-R-I-P-E-Y, Gripey, but it's said Group A. Group A.
They finally made it all work.
W.
And for them, they'll be seeing
Liam, Shori, Cabin, Rexy, Shortcake, Rips, Jacob, Usif, Riker, Jakes, Frankie, Mike, Isaac, and stuff, guys. I'm getting a little nervous. Malabuka.
Lobby left to work with, and there are a lot of teams that find themselves sitting just outside of this consistent threshold. But the way that Prax, Grippe, and Glubshy just made sure to stay so tightly knit, they knew that these lower layers were just too heavily collapsed on each other.
Yeah, I mean, Combat Blaha and Mixon, they're greedy. They're already qualified. They don't even need the win. So for them, I'm sure they'll be happy with that second place, continuing their momentum in the day. But there's still so many teams that are yet to qualify through. So many big names as well. I want to see the leaderboard. Frankie, show us it.
I want to see the leaderboard too. I don't know if we can show it just yet because we do have to take a break. But before,
sorry, chat, I had to flame Rody real quick. My bad.
And Co's victory 11 because
you leave with a 48 again, bro. They give milky. Oh my god! So chat, you guys want some V-Bucks? Type the word Grip A in chat. You got about 30 seconds. You only got to type it in once, and then make sure your Twitch whispers are on.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye on your DMs.
When you watch game 3,
a DM from my mom Merits.
Tried to play for height, and unfortunately, you just had one of the best height players of all time up there in Queasy, and he put that right to an end. And so they were resilient. They didn't give up. They said,
"He flows you with the prime.
He's gonna win. Let's just try it again, lads. The next game." And that's exactly what they did. And they
one more game, chat, and we have a few big names outside. We knew this was going to happen, man. This group was way too stacked for this not to happen.
You said it yourself, Levin. Queasy shut them down in like half a second, but this time around, they successfully took it and even took down who was the most consistent trio throughout the day, Blaha, Mixon, and Comeback, who've gotten third, and second. So now,
all right, we'll call it there, chat. Thanks for the giveaway. Thank you. Meadows crashed twice now.
Needing it more than the trio that got second place. I mean, congrats to them.
Don't get me to get on my soapbox about tweaks, bro. I'll do it.
And I'm really excited for the Major 2 finals because the names that are going through are making me very excited indeed. We'll be talking about more of the names from Group 2, though, after this short break.
Will Venegar grief Fred this game? Probably not. I mean, I guess we're going to find out, bro. I guess we're going to find out. find out, bro. Oh, yeah. Combeck, Blaha, Mixon played amazing today. Feeling very vindicated for kids questioning me. Put in Blaha top 5 in this group. Glubshy wanted to quit last season, by the way. Good for they still plays. W. I'm also glad Grip Ace keep the motivation up even after having a pop off creative map, man. We've lost too many good ass creators and pros. I'm tweaked and only crash like once every few days. That's not good, homie. You're not supposed to crash ever. I don't remember the last time I crashed in a Fortnite game. The only time I ever crashed in Fortnite is replay mode. That's just replay shit. Only crashing every few days. You gotta remember, chat, again, there's layers to tweaking. What a lot of you guys call tweaking, I would just call optimizing. Like, changing your battery set, like changing your power settings, like changing your RAM profile, stuff like that, totally fine. Tweaks is when you start doing like weird registry shit. You played like 2 minutes in the past 2 years, so it's hard for you to crash. Okay. Kind of fair. But I know that from watching people who play hundreds of hours and don't crash, it's 1000% tweaks. You can't argue that, bro. You're going to try and tell me pros don't crash more than the average player. We've had people crash multiple times in a 5-game tournament. Since I've started grinding again, I've played at least 30 games of Reload and haven't crashed once. We've got people crashing 2 in 5 games. You're not meant to be crashing, ever. Yeah, it's mostly overclocking usually, I think. And there are some really good tweakers, don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
It's going absolutely hard tonight, and so are our trios in Group 2. I hope we can take a look at the leaderboard now, because it is do or die. Our trio, some big names have gone through. Some big names are standing on the precipice between making
here we go.
and not to Carter. And we've got to talk about Ping.
All right, what do we got? Okay, so we've got our 4 winners. We got Robin, Swizzy, Chap, and Glubshy. And our top 5 without a win is Comeback on 306, Seti, Vico, Ping, and Sanguild. Bro, that's a stat. Bro, and Fred's in 10, bro. Damn. That top 10 is insane. All 10 of these players 100% should be in Grand. So this is tough, man. This is a tough one. So Fred's, it's a decent gap behind. 26 points. Not crazy, but damn. So Malibuka on 160 is definitely not safe, though. But surely like an okay game does it.
Top 10. They're going to have to get a pretty good game here, Levin, if they want to close it out.
Yeah, look, I'm looking at Vico, Venno, Flixie, right? I think a lot of us maybe would have wanted or expected them to be a bit more comfortable in their position here. You know, I'm sure plenty of people would have predicted them to have already won a game by now.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Sonic. No, Dad. Thank you, bro.
You know, sat in sort of the pole position to hold on as long as they have a good sort of final game here.
Oh, nice, No, Dad. Congratulations.
For them at times in these games, a bit unfortunate.
It's a fun time.
Unlucky in certain moments that have cost them. But do I believe they'll get the job done? Yes, I do.
What is the conversation this trio is happening right now, Levin?
Ooh, well, knowing them, I don't know, to be honest. Like, it could be anything. But I think a lot of it will be centered around just making sure they sort of just do the same things they have been doing, right? You know, the games haven't been as maybe emphatic as we're used to, but with Vico's clutch last game, hopefully that momentum sort of pushes them on to get this last game done.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine a major finals without this trio, so fingers crossed for them. Let's talk about Mixon's trio, because this has been the most consistent trio of the night, and the numbers they're putting up are
Panda with a gift in? Sorry, I haven't got around to the DMs, bro.
If I'm being honest,
getting slammed right now, man. FNCS is busy.
Looking at them in that last game, And Mini sort of mentioned it, right? Like, these guys are already qual for the most part. And I sort of was looking at how they were playing, I was like, surely they're not going to just go win the game, right? That's so greedy from them.
So greedy. No, it would have been good if they won the game. Their spot would have rolled down then.
Team who, I mean, have performed.
It's almost greedy them not winning.
In terms of the consistency team in this sort of format, right? They have been unwavering. They have been so prolific in these end games.
Unwavering and prolific.
I think they're gonna now be putting themselves on a lot of people's radars
it.
going into the major finals next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking the opposite though, Levin. You're calling them greedy. I'm saying, can they just finish it off already?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just get the victory royale. I mean, third, second. If they end up coming out on top in this last match, it is gonna bump those players that were below them up a slot. So all the trios on the borderline, the CZB, the Pablo, the Tidy, all these people who are just right on the cutoff of qualifying want one of these trios in that top 5 to make it through. So I think, you know, they might.
Oh, face cam's still up. Sorry, Taff, I didn't put it back up.
I feel like I'm one of those people who's taken this trio for granted, and I'm really excited to see how they perform in that stacked lobby next weekend. Zeti, Cherry, Cammy, they're currently
I didn't know that, no, Dad.
They're pretty comfortable going into this last one, but let's talk about the bottom of that top 10. Tino, Pablo, Wingo, and Fredoxy. This is a trio I definitely haven't really noticed until the last couple of games. Levin,
you big sad shot at winning grands?
Yeah,
I think like a top 3 could be possible. Right? I think Land definitely. Win would be a bit of an overplacement, but maybe.
And so, you know, now they've able to find their footing, and I'm sure Venom's trio will be fuming at that a bit, right? You know, it's like these guys we took down in the first couple games, and they're still kicking it. Like, how are they still here? A big last game needed from them. Mars Meadows, you know, maybe it starts getting personal between the two trios, right? Maybe Venom and them just decide, look, we are taking them out. We are stopping them from qualifying in this final game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one to call though, right? Because also Vico, Veno, Flixie aren't like as high up as Blaha, for example. So going down early could, you know, be detrimental to them. But it's all up to this last game and how they decided to play it out.
Let's bring up page 2 of the standings because we want to see.
How many points Veno need? He might need none. Veno might be safe now, but we're not 100% sure.
And in terms of names, I have to say Turtle, Kaito, and Hydro, it would be really disappointing for them if they don't make it through because they had such a great start to the night, Takata.
Yeah, they were looking like they basically had everything in their favor. I mean, they were just a couple eliminations. I mean, if Hydro didn't end up going down to fall, if they were able to stay up, it could have been it. But now seeing them in 13th place, I don't know, Levin. Do you think they can get a victory in this last game?
Why does Venom want to agree? So a lot of people are saying Venom might want to take down French Hat to get Mars Meadows. He wanted to go Mars Meadows early this season.
Below them. You know, we still have one more group next, right? Tomorrow we got group 3. I know Pink in that group, he's going to be licking his lips thinking, please, Andalex, don't qual, please, right? Like, you're sort of looking at anyone that lands your spot and you're thinking, please don't do it in this last game. Just stud the last game. Give me an uncon spot in finals.
It's time for me to put the pressure once more on Takata because earlier you were non-committal when it came to saying which trio would not get a victory royale. So which one is in this last game?
Which one is going to get the victory royale? You know what? I'm going to pick the boring one. I think Comeback, Blaha, and Mixon, they got to just finish it off and get the VR. They've gotten so close every single match. Just do me a favor and win.
A boring prediction, but it will be very exciting if they do make it. Let's head back then one last time for Super Saturday to Taco and Mini Miner.
So close, yet so far away for some of those teams sitting just outside that 10th place position on the leaderboard, Mini. And with only one lobby left to go before we determine who our final 10 is for Group 2 heading into the Major 2 finals, a lot on the line here.
So much on the line. A lot of our big teams still yet to qualify, yet to sort of solidify their place in the Major 2 finals. I'm looking at sort of down the leaderboard as well. I want to see these teams that are lower down, maybe sort of bottom 20 in that sort of region. Can we see a big push from one of them now to pick up a victory? Well, that's what's the beauty of this format. We could see a team that we weren't expecting to even be here in the Major 2 finals. We'll find out right here. I am muted. Sorry, chat. I mute my mic whenever I'm blowing my nose. And so the face cam keeps disappearing.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, and for our teams that are outside of that threshold, Mini, they are certainly in a desperate position because you want.
Watch the chat. Watch it. No, the buzz cut off. I want to watch it.
You want to solidify yourself as a team in contention for
that.
Face
cam for kill feed. Should on block kill feed.
Things are still continuing to be as annoying as ever, though.
Come on, I'd love to see 80 and Hardfight and Michael randomly win this game, bro. It'd be so good.
50-50 one more time, seemingly going to pan into Aiden, Hardfine, and Michael.
Oh yeah, I feel him way better. I'm still sick, but way better.
One left standing, and it's not for much longer. Their dreams are now
Vico takes down Kaifo.
Solely on that last chance qualifier.
Vico takes down Kaifo.
This still needs to be a huge showing for ADN, Hardfine, and Michael.
Yeah, huge showing needed from those guys. And
who the fuck are those guys? Wait, what just happened?
But just a consistent solid game here for Veno, Vico, and Flixie required. They've already got 3 eliminations, so you can see them already.
Did this team just try to grief Veno? Where the fuck was?
Good. With the way this team play, you wouldn't put it past them.
I'm very confused.
And their ability to just go ahead and win this last game and just, you know, make sure that they can.
Is that a Canyon team?
For Axe-Force.
Oh, it's Canyon Crossing team.
Here off spawn.
No, it's not.
Previously, I think.
Oh, it is the Canyon team. Sorry, not Foxy. Canyon team. You're right. So the Canyon team tried to land closer to Veno, or Veno land closer to them. Maybe Veno tried to get them out. I'm not gonna lie. That might have been Veno trying to get them out of Grands.
Struggling a little bit. The off spawn situation has been looking good for them. You can see this Axe-Force a little bit further back.
I don't really know exactly how Veno plays out his off spawn, like where he drops normally.
Connects with a shot onto Ewick, who have put up a good fight. It's not been completely easy for them, but nicely done from them.
Oh, that was a bad spot to try to go for the revive.
Tim and his trio that are looking to be completely eliminated. Sure enough, Sake, Veek, and Adrix will be the surviving members here at Flooded Frogs, but trouble on the horizon, that's for sure. Another trio already looking to roll in. Voltiac, Siren, and Cool. They have been third-party connoisseurs throughout the course of today, Mini.
Third-party connoisseurs.
Isn't necessarily finding those early eliminations. It's more so carrying them over into a successful mid and end game.
And remember, this was the drop spot of Gripey, Lubshi, and
Group's looking pretty good for you today, Blake.
This is where I think a lot
of teams got some mad third-party potential, bro.
Maybe teams that don't necessarily know the area landing here. Maybe teams that don't know the angles at which they can get shot from. You can see Siren, Voltiax, and Cool just trying to take advantage of that right now. Looks as though they are just going to disengage.
Feel good about today. Nice.
CK, you can see these guys winning off spawn here. It's a nice change of pace. It's a nice change of strategy, potentially, for this team.
The FRG with the Prime.
Taking advantage of this sort of free drop spot. And you never really know what you're going to expect when there is a team that qualifies through and leaves the drop spot free. Sometimes nobody goes there at all, but other times it can be contested. But for Siren, Voltiax, and Cool, they need a solid performance here as well.
It is, Jay Frank. It is. Yo, Lewis, thanks for 5 gifted.
A little bit of time in the early game.
Thanks for 298 subs today, chat. Appreciate you. We're not ending after this, by the way, chat. We're going to stay live today. Get some reps in, get some practice in the Pro-Am. Might run some customs with chat on some reload endgames. I need to start getting my reps into the endgame to make sure I'm not like getting overwhelmed.
5th lobby finish.
Yahoo, the Finns, Roxu, subs, guys.
Here, winning it outright, obviously the most ideal circumstance, but it starts with just making sure that you can actually get these early game eliminations. And Elise already haven't been collected. Sabari and Roman just trying to do what they can, buy themselves a little bit of time. That pulse scanner, though, not doing them any favors.
Already not. As Zangi, Ritbor, and Zara, these guys need a big game. They need a solid game if they want to get inside of that top 5 consistency. They probably need almost a win in terms of points anyway. So they need this big performance for Roman and Elise and Spari. These guys, unfortunately, down on the leaderboard. And it might just be a last chance qualifier situation for them, and it is. No chance of them making it into the top 5. As they're down, they're out. They're going to reconsider now for that LCQ.
It is hard as he by far, Crip. Yeah, by far. Hence why Malibuca's not yet qualled, man.
Around whatever they might be able to find for Doxy, Chino, and Pablo. For Doxy, doesn't want to see his secondary prime. And he's also kind of similar to Pablo, where he doesn't want to sit out the Major 2 finals. He already experienced that from Major 1. And it's
realistically, if you do exactly what Pete tells you, you do good.
And especially to be this close right now, Mini. Axe-Force,
I feel like that's an insanely oversimplification, but sure.
Just on the cusp of elimination here if they're not careful.
I could tell you anything in life is the same, bro.
Abdul just continuing to
curing cancer's easy if you just do it.
To maintain a steady overhead position. Get some nice tags. The distance there onto Della, that's going to force him
just be successful, bro.
But Della
just win.
Back. Abdul, having lost his shield entirely, it's going to be forced to come to a pause here. Unfortunately, the damage has already been done. Axe-Force having been claimed, but Baha, Convec, and Mixon have made themselves known.
These guys are just running through everyone, man. This is great.
This whole fight is just
I'm loving how Blaha and Kix have both really shifted the mentality that Polish players are passive. Like Camiseti, like really just like had it ingrained in everyone's mind that Polish players are just passive. But now we've had like Blaha and Pix, the new generation of Poles, just running through people.
As many stragglers as possible because they know they're already qualified through. But Fidela, this is a huge moment for them. I think they do need a win in order to qualify. So all hope
Cambo, the Prime 44, I think he did.
To the Major 2 finals does lie with Della right now. You can see him just being very sneaky, not too sure about what Blaha, Mixer, and Combeck know. I don't think they know anything really about his position. I don't even think they know he's still here. They might just think, oh, he's run away, try to rotate out. They're really trying their best. This is a very difficult situation. And the best part is that they can do this. They've already got an elimination. They don't even if they go down now, it doesn't really matter. They're able to spend a little bit of extra time here.
They're going to find him. I love it. This is full hide and seek, bro. I love it. It's like actually hide and seek.
Wait. How is he still in this, Della? What is he doing?
Wait.
This could be the moment they look back on as a potential.
Bro, every time his head bobs up from the waves, it's like, oh, hold your breath. Hold your breath.
If Della manages to make this one out and end up getting the reboot. This is
every little bob. Every little bob. Della just trying to keep his head up.
Like, it's just so good.
Mixin thought for a moment.
It's like kind of just creeps up and back down.
Combeck, Blaha, they're both just going to circle back around.
Can they not hear him? Nah, he's not moving, so there's no visual audio. Until he moves, there's no visual audio. He's just got hands off the keyboard right now.
Review, make sure that they've fully scattered out the area, but Della somehow, some way manages to survive. The damage may have already been done here, though, Mini, because even if he makes his way out, so much time has been spent.
This is not good for Sanghild.
Hiding that even if he is able to make a reboot play, his team is going to be so heavily hindered for their mid to end game.
Big moments here as well for Tidy and Jewel, who have lost Sanghild. And this is a team that are inside of that top 5.
This is the last game, chat. 5th and final game.
So this is every single moment here is so important. I always think of Tidy as like a player that's sort of upcoming, but he's been in grand finals before, all the way back in
Venom's playing aggressive.
2,
well, those 3 kills should pretty much secure their qualification, so.
Finals since then, grand finals that is, so longevity personified right there. But for Flixi, Veno, Vico, this is a huge fight for them. We saw them earlier on picking up 3 eliminations. They need to find this one if they have any hope of ensuring that they're inside of that top 5. You see Veno looking from the behind, really nice shots. Well, really nice.
Definitely caught now.
In that fight. I think it was only a duo in the end, in Fury and Craig, but really nicely done from this team, who really setting themselves up for success in this last game here, Taco.
So eyes are really on teams like Fred, CZB, Malabuka.
They need just a sort of top 5 situation maybe, or even just a top 10 to qualify. It may even be less for this team. They can sort of back down, sort of stay inside of their shell, if you like, and not go and play the way that they know they can play and will play. But this team are different. They know what they can do. They know their skill.
Oh, that was not a great 3-2-1.
They're putting it on display for us.
They're just so good at corralling players into the exact line of sight that they want to take advantage of. It's going to take a lot more than that, though, for a team like Haijo.
Yeah, I don't know, Chad. I'm agreeing as well. If Fred doesn't qual here, I don't know if that's like the great thing for Savage we wanted.
Right there for them, as far as the victory royale is concerned.
Veno will probably try to go Master End.
Since they slipped quite literally off of getting chopped from the high ground in that moment, they've just seemingly struggled to establish their ground anywhere else. And with such seasoned teams like Camiseti and Hari still at play, it makes good sense why some of these other teams can be struggling to be as consistent as they would like.
Yo, we chopping.
Cami, though, just chopping out somebody else's.
How many points was Cami on? Oh, there you go. 198. Okay, Cami's chilling too. Nice. That'd be
exactly what we saw Queasy's team do previously, doing that exact same type of bait in that exact same position.
So I think Vico, Seti, and Combeck, I'm pretty sure are chilling right now. So it's from Malabuka down. It's the last 2 spots.
That fight.
That's if Savage actually quals. That is true. I think Savage uncon master in Group 3 should be a qual.
Who was, of course,
I'd be very surprised that isn't a qual.
It seems like they've repositioned themselves at Seaport City, which they have to say is their home. Unfortunately, does get
qual much lower than last week. Yeah, this group's much better, so qual will be lower.
The Major 2 finals because Queasy is still there, and he will remain there, I'm sure. But for Wox, Ping, and Malabuka, huge game for them. The nerves must be a little bit high for this team right now. 160 points going into this last game. Historically, last week I think it was 204 was what qualified teams through. So this is a massive game for them. I mean, I don't doubt they would win in an LCQ format, right? When it comes down to their ability, but you just don't want to leave it up to that chance. You never know what can happen on the day. You never
know what I mean? Green Pro Am? I am, bro. I am. Yeah, I think we all are. I don't know if we like have to, but I definitely am. Yeah. No way I'm going all the way to LA, bro. Not what I mean. Great.
It's such an important game for them in terms of their potential for this season.
When a group is as stacked as this one, though, there's bound to potentially be an upset or two. Granted, that's one of the last teams that I would ever look towards in terms of not being able to confirm their spots on the battle bus for the Major 2 finals. But Momsy, Antics, Skyjump trying to make themselves known. Recently evicted from Seaport City, now trying to be tenants yet again. Syla, Antics, and Pump, though, they're not trying to let it go for free by any means. Syla just gonna have to reposition here. Antics and Skyjump, though, they've already been knocked.
Ooh.
It's only Momsy.
Mumsy's a crazy fighter, but doesn't matter.
Totally collapsed on, though. Nowhere left to run, and a huge upset for Mumsy's team. Of
course, NDIM, man. Always
having former familiarity here.
Sign stuff, take photos, bro.
A bit better for them,
go for it, man.
Shut down by Syla and Antics' trio. That is just, it's a tough break.
Really is, yeah, not ideal at all. And I'm sure teams that would have been contested by Momsy and company, they'll be.
Oh, Malibu in a good spot
right now.
Good loadout too. Come on. We've got the no shotgun loadout though, which is interesting, but honestly, that pistol is like a shotgun.
It's not over, of course, for those that don't know. It is, of course, there is an opportunity. 3-game final in the last chance qualifier next week for 3 teams.
Silas, the prime for 19.
3 Victory Royale winners to make their way into the Major 2 finals. So for anyone that hasn't qualified, there's still hope, although it's best to get it done here, Taco. This is the time to do it. 1 win in this lobby, or even just the top 5 is what will do it. As for Tidy and
vibes today, yeah, man, it's been great vibes, dude.
Without Sanguild earlier,
starting to finally feel a bit better, which is nice.
Him back up, which is nice to see. And as I spoke about earlier, this is a team that are inside of that sort of threshold, so they need a solid game here. They need that consistency to come through.
You think wins first game on NA? Probably Clicks will probably be the favorite in that group, man, just because they're so good in victory formats. The lobby's caliber is not really as good as like a Div 1 finals, and also like they'll have the passion to full try hard too.
At this stage, but they do need to get that damage
done. Demo with the prime for 2.
Look like some issues. As far
There's some good teams though. Muzz's team could definitely win game 1. You got teams like Bucky in there with pop-off potential.
Online, CGB and Nathan. This is yet another one of our teams that I don't think many people would have expected them to have as many difficulties as they have had. When it comes to that consistency metric, Nathan got to be real careful with some of these peaks. It's just a return fire across the way.
Hey, Trevor with the tier 1.
Such a huge threat, but when you are sitting right there on the brink of the bubble for the consistency placement, Mini, it is very easy to kind of let your mind get away from you and sort of start to imagine that kind of losing scenario. So a lot of mental force taken for granted here. I think that some of these players just knowing how to deal with those kinds of circumstances, a little bit of experience, and that's definitely the kind of caliber that I think CCB and Nathan fall into.
Yeah, I think so. They've got to place their strengths at this point if they feel like they maybe haven't had the best.
Stream said they're going to sell first for packs. I don't know if it's troll.
To get their Storm Surge.
Yeah, I mean,
2 different
NA's groups are a lot easier than EU groups. So like the top tier teams on NA can mess around a bit more in groups, and I actually do believe they're not trolling.
So remember when he was sort of camping and sat inside of that ward.
Ooh, Della's back in it. Yeah, Della saved the game, bro. Bro, imagine Della's team wins this now.
Their Storm Surge damage
so good
earlier on in terms of Axe Force and Bevy, so it's only Della's that they're going to be relying on that as of right now. So although things are looking better, it's still not perfect for that trio who still need a really good game in order to qualify through. For Faded, Bendy, and Tex, this is a team that we've seen Spawn at Foxy have some success, but no, just as we were saying how things are looking okay for Della.
Gonna blame the casters for that. Casters gassed as much as I did.
And Della to clutch up inside of this building. It's Blaha, Comeback, and Mixon, the team that everyone's trying to fight right now. As Della hits another great shot onto Comeback, it's not quite enough, albeit a huge shot.
Solo though. Solo. 1v1. 1v1.
This is a huge
Baby's with the clutch.
Can he keep his team?
Baby's with the clutch.
Keep his team in contention.
And we're getting third party. Doesn't matter. It's over.
Oh, it's over. Rotates on through. The third party is here. The decision has to be made from Bevy's right now, and he is just sitting back. He needs this game. This could be a season-defining moment for Bevies, and maybe this third party
Comeback's taking all the heat.
Saving grace that he needs.
Comeback on the other hand, not going to be able to wiggle his way out of this one. But it's the fact that it was Comeback, Blaha, and Mixon trying to finish what they had started, essentially, with the way that they had chased out Bevy's trio over by Salty Docks, and now still making sure to be the thorn in the side here. Della doing just enough, though. The fact that Bevy's is still kicking does prove to be at least a little glimmer of hope for this trio. It is just so difficult to begin to imagine, though, the way that this is essentially unfolded for them in game 5.
Back to hide and seek. Yep, back to hide and seek. Hide and seek champions right now. The problem is they keep losing all their surge whenever they reboot, though.
It doesn't seem as if Abdul, YZY, or Buzz are going to stick around long enough to find out what happens next.
This is a trio that has had almost the most reboots out of everyone. I'm sure there's a stat about it, but they just seem to have always been in this situation where one or two of them are down and they're having to clutch. And you know,
this is a good zone for Frodoxy. He's trying to clutch here.
Yet again, get another reboot going.
Last Meadow zone can help Fred a lot.
All of that damage that they had on the other players. So it's just climbing over a mountain and then seeing there's another one to climb over again. It's just not ideal for them. We saw Veno, Vico, Flixie getting really active. Really nice zone pull here as well for them here in the 6th zone. Boxed up really nicely up on the top, commanding the rest of the lobby. They have some extra heals inside of this box as
it would
well.
appear
So
Firebro has been removed from Group 1 leaderboard.
Number of eliminations.
Not sure why, but yeah, Ricky, Belusi, and Gabix have jumped up and qualled now.
Well, which is nice.
Firebro's team got removed.
Sitting a little bit closer to the low ground, though. Alright.
Yeah, it's only 4 wins.
To connect, but Foxy Floodgate.
Apparently Kentic was band-evading, apparently. Oh, shit.
To make their way over some
of these Monzo, thank you, Evil.
When you have to deal with the likes of other teams rotating in, like Luka, Ping, and Walks. But Bala, Twy, got a pretty set position here as Seti, Hari, and Cammy.
Was band-evading? Evading a ban, bro.
To get inside of the zone. That's all they're really after. And it's going to cost them a decent amount of material, but they have so many builds to work with that it's not an issue just yet.
Yeah, and they also don't need much from this game. They're just on the brink of being pretty much confirmed. 198 points going into this last game.
What does evading mean?
So they really don't need much. They just need
avoiding is probably the best way to do it.
Do anything too crazy in terms of aggression.
Sorry, I didn't know.
And do what they do best, which is sort of consistent.
Evading is to like avoid something.
They're just overbuilding, making sure that they weren't
to outmaneuver. You know what I mean? To dodge.
It's so easy to have that.
If you're evading something, you're dodging something.
Looking for any opportunity, any opening. Everyone has to be so opportunistic, and that's what everyone's looking right now. As Sangild,
I don't know, Blake. I don't know.
Tidy are looking for this opportunity to pick up some more damage. Maybe a refresh as well.
Come on, Jewel, come on.
They're just spraying on through. All these other teams are just trying to get in as well. There's just so many different boxes, next door neighbors, people around that are trying to get themselves inside of this zone. Everyone next to you has the same goal of trying to get in, but then once they do, they're not friends with you anymore.
Where's Mally? Where's Mally?
Spray and prevent your team from getting through. All the teams on height as well. Those massive surge bases, they're not helping whatsoever. But for Jewel, Tidy, and Sangild, they're still not quite in the zone.
Where's Mally?
Just about managed to get in there with a little bit of metal, but expended so many materials there.
The other issue is that they have essentially just been sandwiched inside of that edge of zone. It's going to be very difficult for them to even make their way out of where they've last based up. Same can't be said, though, for Seti, Hari, and Cammy. We saw them.
There they are. There's Walks and Ping. Where's Malibuga?
Malibuga. Got a set position now to just kind of harass.
Fred needs this too, man. Fred needs this real bad.
Frodoxy, Chino, and Pablo, they can't afford to go down just yet. They're trying to see if they can get a good refresh. They notice the body loot left over from Siren. They're going to try to be the first ones to go and collect it. But from the sidewall, Frodoxy never saw it coming, lost his shield entirely, nearly a disaster. But he will manage to skirt his way out of danger for the time being. Voltiax, though, guarding that body loot as much as he can.
You can see Frodoxy just being a little bit naive, if you like, with how all of those builds there were just not theirs. They didn't have the edit control over all those builds, so he didn't place those builds, he didn't replace anything. And that's ultimately what can happen. But again, Jewel, Tidy, Sangil, they made their way in. They need to go in just a little bit further to solidify them inside of this next zone. They are above the Storm Surge threshold as well, but they're still looking for as many tags as possible. It's the team that do need a good performance. They're inside of that top 10
As Pradage doing it qual, man. Unless Pradage is popping off this game, he's got to win this game if he's still alive. I don't even know. We haven't watched him at all today. He's being conned.
Finals. So such a big moment for that trio. They need just to squeeze as many placements out as possible, pick up a couple of the limbs here and there as well whenever they can. Cammy, Seti,
this team's already qual. I feel like they should stop watching Cammy right now. Cammy's definitely safe. Cammy's safe, Veno's safe. It's the last two consistency spots that are really up for grabs here. Oh, Pradage is still alive? Ooh, Pradage could clutch up last game.
Have the Storm Surge, so they don't need to look for anything.
I would not be mad about that at all.
Transformed away a path through. That was beautiful.
Absolutely lighting up CZB on that mountainside.
Say you could win this too. Like, there's a lot of big teams here, man. Nice. Malibuca's racking up the points. They don't need a crazy game. They just need a decent game. Come on, Mally.
In mind, Ping walks Malibuca, though. Elevated just slightly over the rest of this lobby, but they're at the base of somebody else's surge base.
Oh, Chino goes down.
Potentially overhead for Doxy.
All right, Mars Meadows might be up for grabs.
A little bit of panic possibly coming into play.
We've still got last chance, but
might be successful.
We're okay. We're okay.
A huge break for
We're okay. We're okay.
For Doxy. But still, they've got to continue working their way, wrapping around the bottom of this mountain face. Prodoxy doing what he can to tarp through. Just so many teams surrounding them, though, looking to cut them off. And for Doxy, sure enough,
well,
one direction. It's all it takes. Gets knocked in the process.
Looks like Veno's fine.
Vico and Flixie all too happy.
Pablo goes down. Fred's back to a duo. Fred goes down. And that was an instant finish. Mars Meadows open for business. We got uncontested Mars right now.
End of the road here in Game 5, Mini.
Could be very good for Savage, but could be very bad for Savage. Could be very good for Veno.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be enough. I think they ended on about sort of 140 something, 150 points.
Nah, definitely not enough for Prodoxy. Fred's going to have to do it in last chance.
Vico, Veno, Flixie, they're just in control of this whole lobby. They had so much material.
Remember, chat, Veno has already made a play at Mars Meadows early this season, so I don't think this means guaranteed uncon for Savage. As if Savage even quals. I think Savage will qual, but
consistency, and this is a team that can do it. They have what it takes.
I feel like Veno's going to want to drop there. But that means, you know, Savage can swap with Veno, take Veno's splits. Sorry, we won't count their before they have though. Savage plays tomorrow.
They just need to stay consistent here. They have
I'd be surprised to see Savage not qual though.
Looking really good. 700 above that. And they still have a decent amount of materials as well to continue plowing on through this end game. Every single move that these teams
I think Malibuca might have secured this here. Bro, this fifth consistency spot is actually going to be decently high.
Much longer for Veno, Vico, and Flixie as they're just all the way up on height. They're able to control the rest of the lobby. Not too many risks for them right now.
Nah, Prodoxy has nowhere near enough points, chat.
They ran smack dab straight in to Seti, Cammy, and Hari on the low ground, trying to control.
We'll see if one of these teams that already is in the top 5 wins though to push it down, but it won't roll down to Fred. He's too low.
They might have had the materials to work with at the start, but they need more with the way that this zone is pulling over.
Oh, Flixie goes down though.
Malibuca now finds an
goes down to Della. No way, Della clutches.
He's going to leave it up to Wox to actually confirm the body loot, get a little bit more of those siphon materials, hope that it can build just a couple more placements. All the while,
Malibuca on the low ground though.
An elimination up above in the skies, but Malibuca and Wox, they need to be consistent here now more than ever, and working as a duo is going to make that journey difficult, but they've got what it takes.
Unlucky.
Seti right there, a little bit of revenge on their elimination onto Ping. So for Malibuca and Wox, they need to just keep playing out these materials. Does get beat in the process as well. Wox there inside of the storm.
So I think we've done it. I think we've done it here. Top 10 though. Top 10. We only need like 20 points. We're chilling. We're chilling. We're chilling. I think Malibuca's vibing. I think. Man, the math on this always freaks my brain out, bro. I'm not confident enough to call it. It's so hard to follow.
Likewise with Nathan and Eclipse now as a duo. This is a team that also can do it as well in these final few moments, just outside of that top 5 going into this game. This is surely going to send them in if they can continue with this plowing on through the rest of the lobby.
But take a look at what's happening in the low ground. ADN, Michael Hardfine, we knew that they had to go absolutely nuclear in this final
Nathan,
match.
No, Nathan doesn't make it, bro.
Finally gonna get shut down. They won't get a chance.
Oh, the Italians is full trio on low though.
Jewel, Tidy, Sengil.
Sengil's done it. Sengil the finals, baby. Let's go.
But it could come at a cost. It could come at a price. No builds remain.
We've got the Italians down here as a full trio too. Wait, ADN, Hardfine, and Michael could do it.
Michael, Hardfine, they're close.
Oh, they're shambles though. Oh! No, they're collapsing. Oh my god, they're crazy. Oh no, that's Venno.
He's the last member standing.
Nah, 220, they've done it, they've done it.
Now from ADN Hardfire and Michael, they're dominating that low ground, but I think they get taken
If
out.
Venno
as
wins
well.
this, their spot rolls down, which is big.
Down there. It's Vico and Venno up
Wait,
on the high. Can
the
they
Italians
take
are the only ones who need to win this. If Zangi don't win, they don't qual. All the other teams have already qualled though. It means the most for the Italians. Vico now solo. Zara's still a full trio. Come on.
But Vico still has to worry
Bellissimo.
what's taking place directly underneath it. 1 versus 3, man. It is never easy to try.
3v1v1. Surely the Italians win it.
Won't be able to be a part of the conversation any longer. Vico's got his work cut out for him.
Let's go. Good shit.
Rickboard, Zangi, and Zara
They clutched in the last game. 3% odds on the prediction too. W.
Victory Royale, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Okay.
Absolutely huge.
All right, I'm not going to wait because you guys are going to freak out if we wait. We're going to check and then we'll watch the rest of the broadcast though. Come on. Who qual, baby? Oh, shit. Okay. We did, but only just. Okay, no, we had like a decent gap. Okay. All right, nice. All right, so our teams, the next 10 teams into grand finals, we have Rickbor, Glubshy, Chaps, Swizzy, and Robin with the win. Then we have Combeck, Vico, Seti, Sanguild, and Ping on the consistency. W. All right, we'll make the, we'll just make one. Which one's easy? We'll do Zara, chat. Z-A-R-A. Nice and easy for the V-Bucks. Last one for EU. We're going to have 5 more for NA, though. If you guys want to win some V-Bucks, type the word Zara in chat. Z-A-R-A, Zara. W. No CZB. I know, man. I mean, this group was just way too hard, bro. This group was just way too hard.
But you said it best, Minnie. This is exactly
just a way too tough group.
Exactly what they needed. The fact that they are able to now fixate their position.
Now let's see where Venno's going to go. Is Venno... Oh, wait. Wait, Venno's trying to claim Mars? Yeah. I did see this coming. I'm not going to lie. Let me see. Where did they claim that, chat? Where did Vico say Master in Grands? Let me see.
Measures. So Frankie, what have you got for us?
Really, guys, great to see.
Oh shit! Masked in Grands. Flixie sold out 2 second places, by the way, guys. Damn, yo, chill.
Exciting, Frankie. And you know why this is exciting? It's not only because Rickbor, Zangi, and Zara just got that victory.
That's big.
Got it onto Venno, and Venno.
Like I said, Savage might not be too happy.
And originally took that victory royale
away from 15 more seconds time to Zara chat, then I'll call it.
So now being able to come back and not only get the VR, but get it on the people that stopped you.
So if Savage makes it tomorrow, he's going to be con. But Savage can take Venno's split now.
That is one of the best.
That's still a good drop.
Right? To get that revenge, like you say, must be amazing. And honestly, they probably are less focused about that. They're more focused on the fact that they do get to play in the finals. So
thank
really
you,
happy for
Shaffer.
them. Like the casters mentioned, great performances earlier on in the day. Well deserved it.
Yeah, they've provided us with some of the most thrilling moments from tonight's game. So huge props to Rico and the guys again. We'll see them.
All right, chat, we'll call the giveaway there. Thank you very much.
Take a look at all 5 of our trios, though, who made it to the finals 5 victory royales. Because, of course, it's not just those guys we've been talking about, Zara, Zangi, and Rico Burr. If we go all the way back to game 1, Robin cheating.
Savage tweeted he ain't leaving.
The first victory royale of the night level.
Oh, okay, okay. Bold.
Able to get it done. Some great talent there. Next game, Chap, Teeny, Skavi, really excited for these guys, man. You know, when you look at how last
you sure? I haven't seen anything.
It was
oh, you know, need 3 for Osborne Prague.
To really light the world on fire in the EU, and this might just happen again this year.
Oh yeah, and as expected, game 3, Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstash, they were uncontested in this group. Will they be uncontested going into the major finals is the main question. Being contested last season caused them to get 4th, so hopefully this time around it will change up. Game 4, Glubji, Prax, Gripey, great job closing that one out. I believe they had a close game leading up to that, but they still got it on the 4th match, Levin.
We'll see, we'll see.
No,
Savage is gonna get the Fred coach.
Great.
Oh,
honestly,
shit.
All around, some great wins, some great winners. You know, when you look at how some of the teams won their games, very relentless in their attempt and their pursuit of it, and eventually got it. So, well deserved.
Any shining stars that you weren't expecting?
Well, that's going to be fun. Stay live, aim, stay live today, chat.
It was a stacked lobby.
Gotta get some pro-am practice in, man. Gonna maybe try and run some customs with chat. On some reload end games.
You know, one of the teams that called on consistency, you know, Mixon's trio, you have to say have been the shining light in terms of consistency, the level that they played at. Obviously, didn't get the win.
Are you rising with the 2-1? Seb Gotti.
Still great games played by them today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they cook up next weekend. Let's take a look at the 5 trios.
Well, they can't really avoid these heats, bro. It's just the RNG, but it's just the luck of how it goes.
So let's take a look.
EU's just got too many pros, man.
Mixon, and Combat. That was a clear one to go through. Thank goodness for Vico, Veno, and Flixie. They had some big number games there. And let's look down at Ping, Wox, and Malabuka as well, Takata. They wanted this so much. And at one point, though, it looked like they might not make it.
Yeah, they were able to close it out, but it looks like, you know, due to Rick, Borazangi, and Zara winning that last match,
Polo with the 2 on for 12
in the top 5 after getting
big group, man, big group. We saw this coming. We knew there was gonna be some upsets.
Out on it, and Ping Watson got that last spot. But shout out to Sangild, Tidy, and Julie too, who were able to push themselves into that top 5 going into that last match.
Look, we said today, or you said today, there was gonna be an upset, and I flamed you for not picking who it was gonna be, and now I'm gonna flame you again because you were wrong. And we, you know, all the big names. Everyone was, oh, one of them's gonna make it surely, or one of them's not gonna make it surely. They all managed to sneak their way in. Look, they made it close towards the end. The fact that Malabuka's trio was sort of the last team to call on consistency is surprising somewhat, right? You wouldn't have probably put them down for that position, but at the end of the day, they make it in. They have a spot in the major finals, and that's what matters most, for them to continue to show what they can do on the biggest stages.
So one of the things that's so exciting about this format, though, is you are really rewarded for both the consistency and just going all out. Obviously, with being able to qualify through a victory royale, I think is really, really tempting for a lot of these trios to Carter. I have to say, I'm disappointed that Nathan, CZB, and Eclipse didn't quite make it through. I wonder if we are able to take a look at page 2 and just see how close some of these trios were. Turtle, Kaito, and Haijo, they were definitely a trio to watch at the start of today. Unfortunately, just could not maintain that momentum, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of points, there is quite a big difference between 10th and 11th. The main thing that kind of didn't go CZB, Eclipse, and Nathan's way was what I mentioned earlier, is that the trio that won that last match wasn't in that top 5, top 10, depending how you look at it.
Veno's going must?
They needed that to kind of bump themselves in that final spot. But, I mean, overall, the players that did qualify through consistency obviously deserved it.
I'm really excited to see how these teams bounce back.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thanks for letting me know.
Seasons are not done.
That's crazy.
Looking at Fredoxy.
So why didn't you tell me?
Chino. Look, I like to stir the pot a bit. I love these guys. Great guys. I've met Fredoxy, amazing guy. Chino, I've met him as well. Super nice. But Fredoxy, this could be another season in a row.
Thanks for the V-Bucks. You're chilling, man. You're chilling. Thanks for watching.
He was playing with Thomas, you know, last season with Trippin as well.
Yeah, no, I think as well, by the way. Oh, that's right.
Chino as well. Chino was playing
in the
major finals with Pink and Nebs. He decided at the end of the season, I don't want to play with you guys no more. I want to go play with my Danish friends. And so far, playing with the Danish friends ain't working out too good. So last chance.
Damn.
All eyes will be
Levin going to bat for his homie Pink.
Can you make it happen?
Damn, Levin.
That was wrong.
Are you firing shots at the Danes, Levin?
I'm not firing.
He's just backing up his boy Pink.
So they might cut my camera feed any second now. I'm not firing shots at the Danes. I'm just saying there's a lot of pressure on these guys to deliver come last chance qualifier, which is even more reason to watch it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the last chance qualifier. It's so delivered back in Major 1, and it's definitely going to deliver again this time. Takata, you looking forward to Group 3's action tomorrow?
Oh yeah, a lot of big names. Mr. Savage, I know there's a lot of fan favorites competing, so I'm excited to see how Group 3 tomorrow plays out. Obviously, last chance as well for the trios that weren't able to. Only 3 trios.
Yeah, so Fred was mad laggy today, was he?
Incredibly difficult to get the job done, but I'm excited. I'm ready for it, Frankie.
Can we get 11-2K guarantee? Any predictions for tomorrow?
How do I get the fans on side here?
Savage.
Reason for doing Mr. Savage. Win game 1.
Yeah.
Done.
Woo. Yeah.
That's it.
It was a bold
Thank you,
prediction,
Lockie.
but I don't
Thank
think
you,
that was
Note.
11-2K guarantee. Thank you so much for tonight, guys. Thank you very much to Mini Miner and Taco. I can't wait, Levin, to be proven wrong tomorrow. You look a little bit hurt there. I'm sorry. I love you, babes. And I love you guys at home for watching. We will see you guys tomorrow, but don't forget, on stream in a couple of hours' time, you do have the guys from NA, so do stick around for Zeke and the gang. You know he loves his Fortnite fam. That's all for us tonight, though. We'll see you tomorrow.
NA is going to be spicy.
Let's sound that one.
All right, chat. Let's get it, baby. Very fun group. Very fun group. All right, cool. Dunskies. All right, chat. Play it now. Like I said earlier, man, we aren't getting off. I know you guys are used to me getting off. We are gonna get some pro-am practice in. I'm gonna be. It's 4:22 in the morning, bro. What am I doing with my life? I love my life, but like, why am I grinding Fortnite at 4 a.m., bro? I'm gonna be so dead ass. I would not have been practicing like this if I didn't get paid. Like I was gonna practice a bit. Like I'm not gonna go in fully washed. But damn. I've never had so many eyes on my gameplay before. I feel like I really got to step it up. All right, also, YouTube, peace out. I love you all. I'll go live again for NA in like 2 and a bit hours. I'll just end in between just because it's easier and I really would rather the VOD not get struck. So, peace out. I love you. If you want to swing by the Twitch, watch me play some games, come play some customs, have a good time. If not,